Ladies and gentlemen, the Adult Baby Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 129. That was the fastest intro.
I know, I didn't count
You were
down
just like,
this
go.
time.
Chris just started. Well, that's B. I'm Chick.
And I'm Chris.
That was a fast way to. You threw me off.
I didn't
there.
count you down this time.
You didn't
bad.
count him down, and I was in the middle of writing something on a text, and then I see B just start introing, and I'm like, oh, shit.
No, he just said go. He said go.
Well, that's probably a little foreshadowing into how this episode
Yeah.
might go.
So exactly right. So speaking of going, I do have news on me. It's happening. I'm leaving. I signed a lease tomorrow.
So you didn't sign it yet.
No, but it's all all the.
I just
paperwork
feel
is
like
done.
with your luck,
I
want to
know.
wait until you
You're
sign it.
announcing this before you
I know.
sign
Until
it.
you have the keys, I won't
Um,
believe it. But congratulations.
Well,
I'm happy
I
for
went to
you.
the bank today. Well, everything's most things everything's like done. So
Nice,
I
man.
just have to go in there and finalize it. But yeah, you're right. No, with my luck, God knows what'll happen. But
I'm cheering for you because I might utilize this as like a second home for me.
of course. It's, you're
Does it
more
have
than
a guest room?
It's a small 1-bedroom. But I do have a pull-out couch. So
Oh, it's perfect for
nice.
me.
but yeah,
Plenty of
and-
space for Chick and I.
yeah,
Me and
plenty of
Chris.
space, plenty of space. And it's been a crazy thing. So last week I talked about this. I remember last week I lost 2 phones and 2 apartments within 3 days. So the second apartment that I lost, I'm looking on like the Zillow, the True, all the
Still there?
all the apps. It's still there. So my mom has been real vocal about. Maybe she just wants to get rid of me. The more I think about it, but she's been real vocal with like go for it, because I'm timid.
Wait, go for what?
Like
Just to get out?
yeah, call them, find what's going. Because
Stay
even
on them.
yeah,
See why they didn't do it and why it's still up.
Right.
Even the other one, she was like, just give them a call. There was another one. She's like, give them a call. So just see what happens. So I did, and that one was definitely rented. But this one kept. It was still on for about a week. It was still on Zillow. And I'm
Maybe
like,
something happened with the other person that you lost it to.
Why
Right.
did they find out that you
well,
didn't find out?
yeah, that's what I was worried about. Was there a
that's
ghost?
my first thought.
Wait,
My
what is your
first
first
thought is-
thought?
My first thought is, what did they find out that made them not want to get it?
Yeah.
Oh, you think that the other people pulled out of it?
They're like,
It could
wait.
be either way.
Well, I
What's that
think
shit in the corner.
what happens. But what happens is they see it, and then I'm pretty sure what happens there with that is once the paperwork, there's a background check. There's you have to get pay stubs. So once you say you're gonna get it, and the agent knows, she'll start telling people somebody's got it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have it until it's all booked.
Right. Well, we
Right.
wish you a ton
So
of luck.
yeah, so it was nuts. I reached back out to this lady, and
I'm officially the only baby who's living at home still. Are you?
No, I live at home.
You live at home,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you see, like,
Yeah.
you're not.
but he's
You don't fit
I'm also-
the mold of what me and B are because you're a
because
lot
I'm
younger.
25.
But that's my point. Is like,
yeah.
it's not so crazy your circumstances as opposed to mine and only mine now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll wait till tomorrow until we make that first. But I think I was out of my house at 25 though. I was.
you probably were.
I was out early, but
I was
came
out
back.
probably
I would've
before
been out in
25.
May.
Yeah.
But was
If
only
not
out.
for coronavirus.
I was
in my
out before
defense.
25 too, but I wound up getting laid off about 6 months into.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my buddies had a house. It was like 4 of them, and they rented out a whole house, and they all had rooms. I was there all the time, and I don't even know how it got brought up, but I wound up taking not even a bedroom, but like moving in with them
Yeah.
and taking like a living room area.
Didn't you have like a sheet?
And I
around you?
used like a divider.
Yeah, I think we.
It was
talked
like
about
one
this.
of those loose dividers that it's like almost like a closet. It's like a changing room
Yeah,
almost.
okay.
Yeah.
And we split it up so when Shaba walked out of his door, because my room was right outside of Shaba's, who's
You
a
were in, like,
early guest, a previous guest on the
like
show.
the den or something.
I was like, it was like a den.
Yeah.
It was
It was
the
a-
downstairs
yeah, the
area
sliding
because it
glass
wasn't
door-
like the
yeah.
main living room. And I had like my bed and everything in there, and I lived there for about 6 or 7 months. Maybe even it might have even been close. I don't even know. It was a decent amount of time, but I got laid off while I was there, and then I moved back home. Then I got all my anxiety even worse, and it was like I was home for a while.
what
yeah.
job was that?
that I lost while I was there?
Yeah.
I worked for a who's who company. It was called Strathmore's Who's Who, and it was the biggest scam ever. A Who's Who book is like, let's say all doctors want to get into a Who's Who. It's really for successful people in a field, and usually each book is designed for. It's like a way for professionals to network.
It's like the verified check on.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I'm in this Who's Who, so you could verify that I am what I say I am, and it's a way for other people to contact each other.
Got it.
It's like a networking.
So
but,
getting into this would be huge for a doctor.
but it's a
because then-
scam. It's really not.
Well,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's one
though?
of those
Like,
things where they're like, this will.
they tell you there's more perks than I think you really get from it.
All right.
But
It was
I
like-
hated it.
Yeah, it's.
And it was the type of sales job where they didn't give you, like, here's our pitch, make it your own, and go out there and sell. It was, here's a 3-page pitch with rebuttals. And if somebody responded the way they expect, you had to read it verbatim. And if you got good at it, it would sound not like it didn't sound like you were reading it off a page.
Yeah.
But literally, you had to get good to the point where your responses were, and it was all word for word. They
Were
wanted you to use it.
monitoring this? Like,
Yes.
wow.
And but it was because the owner was a very good salesman. He wrote the pitch, and some people are like, this is what you need. Nothing else
Right.
is going to work.
But
And
you know what? I hear that.
I do
for
too.
that guy, and I'm sure. But sometimes everybody's different. Just because this worked.
Yes, and I think, and as opposed to switching I think people who are able to do that should work there, as opposed to, like, if you want to be a salesman and do it on your own, like, get a pitch and kind of build your own.
He essentially
sales pitch.
cloned his own little.
He did. He cloned
himself.
mini me's of him, and that's how he wanted it done, and it worked for them. I hated it. I can't do that.
I couldn't
can't
do that.
Yeah,
That
I
would be
can't.
rough.
I do a lot of sales, and I can't verbatim read a pitch, and then when somebody gives me a response, even my response is verbatim, another verbatim.
That's
Like,
and that's
it's
a
crazy.
Lot of, like, chess you're playing in your head.
Yeah,
you're trying to remember.
When I say it was one of the only when I talk about having my pitch in front of me, like, usually after a couple of weeks, you lose the pitch.
Yeah.
And it just becomes natural. This one, you have it up, and you have all your rebuttals all over your desk, and it's like, it really is like
a choose your own
you got to,
adventure.
like, know where you're going on everybody's thing, and I hated it, and I basically would go, like, I stopped the last couple weeks. I would, like, call in sick. I didn't no-show. I would just call in sick. And after a while, they realized, like, it just wasn't working. I wasn't doing good either.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, we realized you don't like this, and I don't, we don't like you. And
You don't like this, but more importantly,
we don't like you either.
And the
So,
feeling is mutual.
and the
Did he have
feeling
a-
is,
like
and
a
we-
set way to fire somebody too.
Yeah.
Was there a? Did he
no,
read off a
I called
Yeah,
in
just
sick one
rebuttals.
day, and the next day when I was going to go in, they basically, I don't know if it was the night before I got a phone call or that
Yeah, I
early
know,
morning
I know.
was
Yeah.
like,
I
don't
know
come
that.
in. No, I know, B. I'm just saying. I'm explaining it. Dick.
Yeah, that's. I remember that house. There was some good times over there.
It was a lot of fun living there. I get made fun of because I didn't have a room per se.
Yeah,
but
I
you know
remember
what?
going in
They
there
would
and
all
it was,
they
what
could
is
all
this
knock me
for,
as much
though?
as they wanted and say whatever they want. Every day they would all be wanting to play my PS4 because Nick, our other friend who had it, him, numero uno,
Yeah.
just keeps everything in his room and you couldn't
That's
do
right.
it. So, like, I was like where everybody would go down. They'd all want to smoke my weed. They'd all fucking
You're
come
a
down.
good time,
You're the
Charlie.
I'm a
Yeah.
good time, yeah. So it was like fun, but I didn't bring much to the table when I was there outside of like little stupid shit.
Wow, that's something. You brought something to the.
I was
table.
young.
You bring
probably don't-
create the atmosphere. They
I'm an
actually should've-
atmosphere guy,
they should've
exactly.
hired you to live there.
Exactly.
Can I tell you?
Please.
That was the year that the Jets made their 2 consecutive runs.
I surely remember.
So
that.
what years were these now? Because now I'm trying to think.
I want to say 2009.
So it might have been after I started getting my anxiety,
I'm
not when
good
I
with-
was
I'm not
fully
good with,
through it.
With dates, to be honest.
But
with
either way, it was
Bart Scott, baby.
the one year that they made it, and I used to be there so much where I actually cheered for the Jets. Now, most people who know will probably think this is funny because I can't stand them now and I hate them, and it's because of this.
Why?
Because for 2 years, I would cheer the Jets every playoff run with them. Because at this time, the Giants weren't great. I don't think
And
they
the
were
Jets
terrible.
Were a fun team to watch.
The Jets were a fun team to watch. Rex Ryan was they were a good team to watch, and they were good. So in the playoffs, you get that atmosphere. All your friends who were there. The whole house was Jet fans. I was literally the only Giant fan, and they would have their friends come over, and it would be a great time. So, like, just getting in the swing of things, like, I would start JETS chants, and, like, was really, like, cheering the Jets on with them.
Yeah, I don't know if we've said this before on the show, but Chick is the guy that needs to be hired for like an entourage.
Jesus, I would love to be in somebody's entourage.
He's like Turtle.
You're just the hangout guy.
Yeah, I'm a hangout guy. Exactly.
You need somebody in your
Rolling
life
the
to
best
make it
joints,
I do need it. Yeah, because I don't want to. As much as I'd like to make it
Yeah,
big,
'cause I don't wanna do
I'd
it
rather be in.
myself.
No, but I'm saying I'd rather be in the entourage on the
No,
side.
you just roll the joints.
Yeah. I would love to be like Snoop Dogg's
You
like
make the
blunt roll. The
playlist.
guy makes like 70 grand a year, and he
Yeah.
just
So
smokes
why
blunts.
why did this make you hate the Jets?
So after these 2 seasons, my one Jet fan friend, Steve Catchmore, friend of the show,
Friend of the show.
started to just get on his high horse of the Jets and abuse me like the Giants and just be like, oh, the Jets are the team. And like, instead of just not going at me, he like turned it into like,
gotcha.
now we're going back and forth.
All right.
So now he's such a dick about it that I can't stand the Jets anymore. And I regret cheering for them. And now I wish, if that whole fucking franchise went up, I'd be happy now.
What a life.
Wow.
You lead.
Not a great story, but it is what it is.
Total 180 on the Jets.
Okay, that's what did it. Steve?
That's what did it, Steve Catchmore.
Okay, well, I mean, that's sports. That's the fun about sports. Is
But
can
you know
just-
what? I was cheering him on with everybody. Why start to you got arrogant as a Jets fan?
Because
That's what
it's-
happens to the
because
Jets.
you know why?
Because you think your team's good and it's gonna last, and then it crashes and burns.
Right. That's what life is.
And
That's
you
what
got to
we
talk
all
shit to the
do.
Giants, who won the Super Bowl. I think next year after.
I'm sure.
It was 2011, so I think it was like a year or two later.
They
We
did.
won
They-
again.
They won it shortly
So,
after that.
Fuck you, Steve.
All right.
All right, listen, not holding any grudges, but
That's,
congrats, B, on the new place.
Yeah, thanks. This is what I love about Chick. He just goes. The mouth just runs until it runs out
Until
again.
somebody tells me to shut up,
It's hard to tell you to shut up.
because it's
You never
good.
know what's going to come out.
You don't. That's why people
I love
don't
how he
mind
says
it.
it's good. You just said I don't like Steve because he.
Who said I don't? I love the
Oh,
kid.
the
He's one of
Jets.
my
I'm
best
sorry.
friends. I
I'm
just
sorry.
think he's a
you don't
dick.
like the Jets. Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot to take. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to respond.
Sometimes I don't need a response.
I
Just
know.
just listen.
That's
I
good.
just need somebody to
We
listen.
just need to
sidestep
sometimes you-
that.
lend an ear.
Well, yeah. So the whole the process with getting this was so up and down. So it was the same apartment that I had originally lost.
So this is the one you lost that you got.
I lost it,
Okay.
and then I made that call, and the real estate agent who had, by the way, I think they're all full of crap.
They are.
Yeah.
So she's like, who originally was like, I got your back. I'm going, I like you, blah, blah, blah.
I got your back is one of the worst
Get outta here.
fucking.
She didn't say that, but,
But it's just a lie. Like any real
But
estate
she made you
agent,
feel that way.
she
which is
made me
enough.
feel,
they're salesmen.
yeah, because I was like, at the price, I was like, my paycheck is not going to,
Cover this.
it's not going to look, we're in COVID times. So, like, what I was making a few months ago.
So you don't even have the pay. Like you can't use those paychecks.
I'm getting there, but I was like, I don't want, they look for your pay stubs. So
Yeah, no, I
don't,
I know.
I don't want, I've had a couple of weeks where I'm like, I'm up to 40 hours most weeks, but there's a few weeks where I'm back and forth. I'm
Yeah.
going like 30.
Well, because
hours.
it's still not fully
We're still not
running.
fully back.
Right.
Like it's back and it's good,
But
but it's
restaurants
not.
can't
and
be
restaurants aren't
making as much
right.
food.
We're
Like,
we're doing the best we can. We're doing pretty good, but I'm teetering. I have weeks where I'm good, so I didn't want to like run in. I was like, if I just want you to know if my paycheck doesn't look like I can cover this, it's the COVID stuff. I can have my boss write a letter. He already told said he'd write a letter.
Are you nervous about COVID having like a second wave and fucking you?
Well,
Like your income.
yeah, of course. But I had my dad also. I was like, listen, if my dad needs to be there to co-sign it to let you know
Just
that.
so you have.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be.
a good
I'm not gonna be a delinquent and
It's-
not
no,
pay.
listen, I get it. They just
So-
want to see that there's going to be some sort of possibility.
Exactly.
God forbid something goes wrong, I'm getting paid.
Right. So she had gone. She's like, they don't do co-signing, but let me talk to them with the weird time we're in. So she was like, yeah, of course. They went out. She was like, I called for you, so I kind of want you to get this because I had spoken to the landlord. So I felt like she was like working for me on my
Yeah.
side, And then she's like,
Perception
I'm sorry,
is reality.
somebody else got it, right? So then I go.
I also told that person I was helping them out.
Oh, she told it to everybody, right?
Yeah.
But you know me, I'm thinking positive all the time. And then, I was pretty negative with this, I should say. I thought I was going to lose it from the get-go. And so I lost it that one time early on. Then I get back in there. I call her. And she's like, "All right, well, yeah, it's still available."
Your parents were probably hoping so hard that you got this
think
one
they
because
were.
they didn't want to have to hug him again.
I think
They didn't want to have another moment
they
with
just-
B if he
my
lost
dad
another
didn't want that
apartment.
awkward talk where I was
He
like,
didn't want the awkward talk where his 37-year-old
By the way,
son was
I watched-
crying to him.
Yeah, I watched American Pickle this week, and
You talking about the movie with Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Oh, I want
It
to
was
see
excellent.
Yeah, it was
it
very
looks
good.
so good.
Dude, I had no idea it was coming out. It was excellent.
so
I thought it was coming out. Oh, it is August.
it came out.
I take
Yeah,
it back.
it
It's
came
out.
August. So that movie was based on a short story that this guy Simon Rich wrote. He's a writer for SNL.
I did not know that.
And Simon Rich wrote a thing about it actually really applies to us. It's about if our
and you?
ancestors, it's basically Simon Rich wrote this little short story about if his ancestors met him, they would think he was they would hate him because like all the things he went through.
weak.
It is
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a genius idea of how how people were back in the day to
Yes.
what they probably see us as now.
Right. So I couldn't have my dad in that vein of our ancestors and the way they all did it. I couldn't cry to my dad at my age about how I couldn't get into a 1-bedroom apartment. It wasn't going to be a good look.
You
So
did
I-
it already, though.
So I think they well, this is a week ago.
Round two.
I was like, right.
This was a week ago.
Yeah.
Starting fresh.
Yeah.
Can't do it again. though.
Can't
I
do it
can't-
again.
I can't do that twice. So they were definitely rooting for me. So
Definitely not twice in a month.
no. So it works out where the lady's like, all right, you can come and see it. So we went the other day. I went and saw it. I bring my dad, because my dad's got to see this stuff too. I'm such an idiot. I'll jump on a cardboard box if it's a chance to move out. So my dad comes with me.
It's like this reminds me of the car.
Exactly.
I love you
Yeah, that was
purchasing
great.
big things.
I'm like,
It is arguably one of the best stories you'll ever have, no matter how smooth it goes.
God, you remember the car with the guy who was a criminal? I looked him up. My
Your
still
dad wanted to
doesn't know
kill
that.
you about the
story.
car.
Yeah.
My dad still doesn't know that guy's a criminal.
Dad, can you
He
talk to
probably
him?
doesn't need to know.
I just love because when he was with the salesman and he gave his phone to the salesman for his dad to
And
talk
the
to him.
salesman at one place, he's like, why you gotta call your dad for? Don't rub it in, man. I'm trying to make you a commission.
It never gets old.
So now we go, and I'm already nervous to lose this because this place, it is. I don't give the location. Nobody gives a crap, but it's.
Oh, yeah, all our fans are going to be waiting for
It's
you.
literally right. I could walk out of bed and I could roll out of bed and walk into my job. It's next door. It's.
So the new.
It's
is
on.
It,
It's on.
is
Main
it one of
Street.
the new places up there?
No. It's
Okay.
across the street though.
Okay.
It's across the street.
So you get to look at the nice places.
Yeah, I get to look. I don't even. By the way, I don't even get to look.
Are you
'cause my
living
view's in the
above
back.
the meat place?
No, I wish I was. I wouldn't hate that.
He's actually in the meat freezer.
He's living in the meat.
I'm
They gave him a
basically-
sleeping bag and like some hand warmers.
Yeah, I live in a meat. That they hook me up to with that big hook.
He
my
slides
back.
down a fireman's pole to get to work every day. Guys, I'm here.
Another cow has to die today. So I'm actually. So it's the Whiskey Down Diner I'm looking over. If you're familiar with Main Street over here.
You would live on Main Street. You deserve to live on Main Street.
It's beautiful.
well, you're the
I'm
mayor.
surrounded by.
You're surrounded by all your local fucking watering holes.
I have my favorite bars, my favorite restaurants, my job. It's a
and your
beautiful
parents aren't far.
You're
my
never
parents-
leaving Main Street again.
Dude, I won't leave Main Street ever. If my
This
other
is
friends are
B
like,
just bought his home for the rest of his life.
if my other friend, exact, dude, I would buy it. If my other friends are like, you want to go out to Babylon or Massapequa tonight? I'm
Nope.
like, sorry, I'm gonna go out my front door and go to this place.
B's never gonna leave Farmingdale ever again.
So, so that's why I wanted it because of the location. In my mind, I'm like, even if the apartment isn't great, the location is too good that I want this. So I go and we get there at the time it starts. It starts at 4. We get there at 4:05 because I want to be first. There's already 2 people there. There's like a line. It's like an hour. It's almost like an open house thing. So I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna get it. It's all couples. That's the other thing I want to say. For a single person, it's hard to move in because most people are buying it as a couple, so
You're
they're splitting it.
Yeah.
So to do it alone, it's just another. It's just harder.
You got to save so much
Yeah, but
more
couples bring drama.
individually.
They bring drama, but they also bring 2 bank accounts.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
So everybody else is a couple, and I'm like, oh my god, like there's 3 people. There's 2
God,
people.
I need a girlfriend.
Yeah, you know what? I still didn't.
You should have went down there with Susie.
I know.
Yeah.
Unless she's paying for it, it doesn't matter. So I go in. The apartment's nice. It's 1 bedroom. It's small for 2 people, but it's fine for me. The view is out the back. It's not in front. I'm not looking out front. It's in the back, so it's not a great view.
So you look at the parking lots.
Yeah, I look at like a tarred roof, which is a fine view. I don't care.
Do you need a view?
No.
How often do people sit in their apartment and stare out their view?
I don't know.
I mean, actually, you know
When
what?
I-
I can't.
A view
If
is
I
a
was in the
perk.
city, I was
You
just going to
would.
say it's a
Yeah.
perk.
Me and Chris were talking about Long Beach earlier, and my Long Beach apartment I had years ago, it had a view of the ocean, and it was beautiful.
That's what I was going to say. I guess it's not a bad thing if you don't have it, but like you said, it's a perk if
The
you have
difference
it.
between looking out to Main Street and looking behind it is
Not
not
that-
that big of a difference.
You know what the key is? Being able to walk outside and being able to walk next door to the diner or whatever.
You know what I'm
going to
miss? All your Uber experiences.
I know that. Well, I'll still do it for comedy shows, I think.
Are you
So-
going to do comedy off of Main Street, or are you going to?
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. I host an open mic 2 doors down,
Yeah.
which hopefully that'll get. By the way, I love how I move into like a bar area with restaurants when we can't go to bars and restaurants. Well, we can, but it's not the way it used
Probably
to
the
be.
best time to move in, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So,
I
so
hear
we-
city prices are great right now.
yeah, they
Are
are.
they what for like apartments? Because
Yeah.
a lot of people
Everybody's
moved out.
moving out.
Everybody moved
Everybody's
out.
moving out.
Why would you? You know what I never understood anyway is why you'd want to live in the city.
Depends what
Oh,
your
I would
job is. I would
so
live
I mean,
there
I-
in a
to
minute.
live in the city.
Would you like?
Yeah,
listen, I
convenience.
get
But
it.
you're
it's
not
cool.
a city
Yeah,
guy.
I'm not
Well,
like
yeah.
I like going to the city, but I'm not an everyday city guy.
Yeah, I mean, with comedy, I would. If I ever won the lottery,
I
I,
just
don't
love
play
being
the lottery.
around it,
Yeah.
too. Just the energy. I don't know.
So do I, just not daily.
That's why. I mean, I know it's not the city or anything like that. It's not Manhattan, but like that's a big reason. Also, why I like the apartment on Main Street,
Yeah, you're
because
right.
I'm like I'm in the middle of everything. I could walk out and there's always something around. You know.
And it's cool to have that stuff
People.
around. I'm at like a fine line where it's like part of me as I get older wants to get further away from humanity.
yeah.
And then the other part of me does still want to be in the mix. Like I'm at like I honestly when I start looking, I don't know where I would look. Like if I'd want something on like a Main Street type of
Right.
place where there's nightlife because I'm young and single now.
Yeah.
Or not young, but I'm single.
You're young and single.
No, but I'm
Young
saying,
and
like-
single now.
No, but you know what I mean. No,
No.
and, like but
those
as
guys rolling past with the lights on. They're young and single. Not us.
yeah, no, you're right. I'm
But-
middle-aged
I don't,
and single.
It's weird because we start kind of in the middle. We start in a suburb, so there's like I could see if you grow up rural, you're probably so inclined to do a year in a major city. But since we kind of get a touch of both, anyways, it's
Yeah.
like
Because it is so close.
It's
Yeah.
close. Or they're just like so freaked out by a city.
oh, that
you
too.
know?
Yeah.
But like, all right. So where am I? The front porch of my parents right now.
And which
Like-
I honestly love recording the show here.
It's a beautiful
This is a
front
great
porch.
vibe.
This is one of my
By the way,
best.
this doesn't have to change. You
No,
know,
I was
I'm-
just gonna
I still live
say
right
because
down the
that's
block.
why I said it today when you asked me like, "Oh, just come inside." I was like, "Nope, I'm going right to
Yeah.
the porch. I'll see you out there."
I love this front porch.
It's just a great vibe.
think
I
it's-
love front porches.
It's great. It's we have a good. It's perfect over
It
here.
is.
But I don't love being. We're in like the woods here.
It's
There's-
yeah.
It's all
I don't think
dark.
the
Do you want to
audio
record a
loves the
show on a
crickets
porch
either.
where there's a ton of foot traffic?
No, but I wouldn't record. I'm not talking about
I
record.
would. I think
Oh,
it'd
you're
be
saying
cool
just
to
in
record
I would
general.
like to
show.
live on
Okay.
where there's more
Yeah.
people.
Okay, fair enough. I get
Not
it.
that there's no. We have plenty of neighbors walking
I
by. I
like
love
how
this great neighborhood.
like Legion of Skanks does it. I don't know if you guys listen to that.
Yeah, I've done comedy where they do it.
Oh, well,
I've
yeah,
done comedy
at the
while they're
stand
doing
there.
it.
That's pretty cool.
They
Where,
used to
what
do
do
it
they
at
do?
the Creek in the
Enlighten me because I don't know anything about
They
them.
do it just live at a bar.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Definitely.
But how
listen
does
to
this? It doesn't sound
It.
like.
Well, because they're using like these directional microphones,
So it doesn't pick
the
up.
outside noise.
You get a little
hear
bit.
it,
You get a little
but
bit,
it's not horrible.
I've actually only listened to a few, but
I don't listen
they,
to it religiously, but I like the setup.
They used to do Creek in the Cave where I would go a lot, and a lot of times we're in that downstairs place I would do comedy, and they'd be I'd be like, oh my God, Jay Okerson's setting up, or you know,
that's pretty cool.
Jay Gomez.
I saw them setting up at the old stand once, and then at the new stand, I was just in the bar area, and they were doing it in that upstairs room.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
that is cool.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
you gotta
cool to
have the
do
right-
it in places
You
like
have to have
that.
the right.
You need good connection.
We
to
tried
that.
the softball game, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
was an interesting
It was
episode.
like Man on the Street podcast.
I do
Yeah.
like trying things, though, because even if
course.
they suck, like, whatever.
Well, I liked it when we did it at Croxley's that time. That was cool.
That was fun. Remember
Croxley's was
the
fun.
guy
That was
walked
fun.
in,
Yeah.
that weirdo.
Stuff like that's pretty cool.
Stuff like that is cool. I definitely think we should try and do another live one where we could maybe take on some people or do it in front of people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but we'd have to have I don't know, we'd have to figure out what we want to talk about.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
have like a
figure it out.
Well, and this
topic.
is just about the hardest time we could.
Yeah.
We
try
could
to
even
do
take
that.
questions, and people don't necessarily have to hear the questions. If you get what I'm
We
saying,
can just repeat it.
we could
back to
repeat
the
it and
mic.
answer them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like
think we've tried that before, and we usually get nothing.
we
from
don't.
people,
but I mean, if we actually went to a bar and just had people ask us questions,
Definitely.
like there's people already there that we don't have to
yeah,
convince to
yeah,
go
I'm
there.
down with that.
Yeah, that'd be
That
cool.
would kind of be interesting.
That'd be pretty
If
cool.
we just go up to people and be like, now we're talking like podcast behind the scenes stuff on the show.
Who
But
cares?
who
This is
cares?
what we're about.
If we
This
went
is no
out
surprise to
if we
anybody.
went out to a place and started telling people, hey, we have a podcast. Do you have ask a question that you want answered? Whatever. I don't know. Well, I think that'd be interesting.
That
There
could be
is
fun.
something I want to bring to light before I forget.
Please, and we know you will forget.
Yes, I definitely will. Last week I destroyed PSEG. Maybe I destroyed. I don't know if I destroyed them or I was
Well, you-
frustrated
yeah,
with
you were
not
frustrated
having
with
power.
them.
A criticism though that a lot of people had.
Yes, I think it's it was a criticism that a lot of people had, and it was brought to my attention that maybe I shouldn't be so hard on PSEG from a worker who is a linesman.
I agree.
And
I
he's
agree.
one of our longtime listeners.
Yep.
He comments about a lot of stuff. He reaches out to me, B. I don't know if you necessarily know him,
I don't
per
know
se,
him,
Chris, but he's a
you've
Farmingdale
sent me
guy.
Some of his screenshots.
And I'm going to take the time because after we got out of the show, I went home and my electricity was back. I don't know if it was that night or the next
I
day.
think it was that night.
It was
think
either
it was
that
that
night or the
night,
next
yeah.
day. I don't
I
remember.
think you came back that night and rubbed it in my face.
I might have.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't rub it in your face. I asked
No,
if you
but-
had
no,
power
you did that
because I
thing-
thought you were going to have it.
well,
No.
the joke's on you. B never lost power.
Yeah.
The
no.
joke is on me because, yeah, B
No,
never
we were
really
just trying
lost
to
power.
save some watts.
But I am going to thank our linemen because as much as you want to bash PSEG and maybe the higher-ups are assholes and should do things a little better, the people actually fixing all the electric and the linesmen out there, I want to tip my hat off, Cap.
tip your
He tipped his cat.
yeah.
Cat.
When you,
I want to tip my cap
cat
off
just fell out of his hat.
Yeah.
and say thank you for all your hard work. You guys have been out on the road for a few days or a week probably. It's been
By the
about
way,
a week
did
and
you
a
write
half.
this before? Did your old boss write this?
No.
Yeah, he's trying to.
He's using his arms like he's doing a.
Well, I use my hands. What do you want me to tell you?
He's trying
But
to figure out where to go next.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you guys for your hard work. And we love you.
We
We
do.
appreciate you.
no, and thank you.
And
That's-
thanks for
that's
calling
a
By
me
the
real
way-
job.
out. And he wasn't even mad.
No,
I
no,
won't
no,
say
he's
that he
super
was.
cool about it.
Yeah, he wasn't offended by it.
But
He
he's
knows I'm
gotta-
an idiot.
I-
but I'm glad he said something.
Well, you know what it's like when after a horrible snowstorm and the roads aren't plowed for like 2 days, and you're like, "What the fuck? The roads aren't."
Yeah.
plowed." I'm not mad at the plow guys. You're mad at whatever
Yes.
the administration
But
is. that's not-
unfortunately,
even
our
the administration,
frustrations
though.
don't let us appreciate the people who actually are
Have
working
you?
their
Did
we're
you
doing it,
drive
yeah.
around after that?
Yes, it was
Oh,
awful.
it
because
was a disaster.
I don't care how many people you have. It was.
It was a
insane.
disaster.
These guys are working
And
16
you don't just flip a
hours.
switch to get it on. A lot of times, I know some of
They have
them.
to repair the
They say
whole-
some of them you
yeah.
could I guess you could
Right.
not, more or less kind of do something simple to fix it. But some of them you have to rebuild from scratch.
Well, do you guys know? I don't know if I said this last week, but like Massapequa Park's Main Street, Park Boulevard,
Yeah.
right over there, right around the corner from all the bars and restaurants, a huge tree went down, took the whole sidewalk with it, and town didn't have power for like 2 days.
Yeah.
But like this tree, it was like,
Man.
you know.
Did I ever tell
it's
you
rough.
guys about the linemen I met?
No.
I didn't until this week know that they were called that.
Yeah. Neither did I.
And when you guys were texting about it, I'm like, why are they talking about football and electricity?
I met. This is going back a couple years. So what these companies do a lot of times is they send people from out of state to come in.
Well, because they need the help.
Yeah.
They don't have the manpower.
So a few years ago, I'm out at a bar with my friends, and you know when you see somebody walk in and you know right away they're not from around here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these two guys walk in, big guys, over 6 feet tall, husky, corn-fed boys, right?
Yep.
And me and my buddies are like, look at these two. What, they're not from around. Like
Yeah,
right
I
away
get it,
we're
I
interested
get
in
it.
it, and of course, somehow they gravitate towards us. You know, we started.
They probably heard you guys
You're
talking
sitting in
about
the corner
them.
staring at them.
it was something like that. We found each other, you know, like
Yeah.
magnets. So they
Simpatico.
introduced these two guys introduced each other. They're like, my name's Ed, his name is Ed. We're brothers. Our names are Ed because our dad's a dick. We're also from Oklahoma. We're linemen here working on the power grid. Like that was their opening line, and I'm like, I was like, I want to be friends with these guys. And we
Ed and
ended
Ed?
up- Ed and Ed, two brothers, both named Ed. We called them Ed and Eddie, and they were
What an
lit.
asshole father is right.
What? That is some Oklahoma shit,
Yeah.
though, huh?
So they drove here from Oklahoma in this gigantic truck, and they were living not far from here, actually, in a campground. They set up shop. They had tents, and they were living here, and they were linemen. They were working on the line.
I love that they came here and camped as opposed to went and got hotels.
Yeah.
That's some Oklahoma
That is some
fucking
They
Oklahoma
type
did.
shit.
And these guys were making the one kid, the younger kid, was a big built kid. He was going to play football for the Oklahoma Sooners, which is a big deal.
Yes,
like he was
it's
going
a
to play.
very big
He was
deal.
actually going to be
No
a
idea who that
lineman
is.
for
They're
the
like
Sooners.
they're one of the big teams in college football.
College football.
Yeah,
okay.
college football. But he got hurt. There was something happened. He got hurt, but he was like recruited by them. He was set to play. But anyway, these guys are there, and they were making more money than they've ever made. So they would pull out out of their pockets. They would pull out like fists of cash, and they're like, whatever you want. And they would have these phrases, like these great phrases. They would buy you a drink, and they'd be like, "There's steel ships, wooden ships, but the most important ship is friendship. Here's to friendship." They were hilarious.
As a toast.
But at the same time, I was like, these guys are going to murder me. I don't know what's going on. They live in a tent somewhere. They're huge, but they're super nice. And
They're probably like mushes.
They're
They were the
totally
best, man.
harmless, probably, but I get a little weirded out by.
listen,
nice.
you find two guys from Oklahoma that are like 6'5" coming at you.
Oh,
Like,
listen, I get it.
I ended up bringing them to a show in Manhattan. I was doing Dangerfields. They both came. I gave them their first ride on a train. They went up to. Have you ever like imagine taking a kid for their first ride in a train, but those kids are 6'5" and they're from Oklahoma. They were running through the train. We're on a train. We're on a train. I was like, this is fantastic. I brought them to Dangerfields. They brought other people. We stopped at a bar. These guys were the best. And one of them bought a house here, and he moved his whole family out. And the other one moved around. He went back to Oklahoma, and then he went to Puerto Rico when they got hit with that hurricane. And he was there for 3 months. So, yeah, these guys live not an easy job.
No.
Also,
No.
a
And
real
it's not.
tough
It
job.
actually is
Dangerous
life-threatening too. That's what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
right.
I
It's
think
not
John
a joke job.
They told me John Travolta has a movie about it, and I have yet to see it. But they're like, watch that movie. You'll see what we do.
It's probably called lineman.
Probably, yeah. So
Is it linesman or lineman?
I would always call them linemen. I don't know.
Is it line man? Like extra?
Yeah. Is it a min or a man?
Either way, thank you, lineman.
So yeah, they're all good guys, and thanks a lot, lineman.
Yeah, you got my
no,
power
definitely.
back a lot quicker. And you know what? You always feel like a douche when you're complaining, and then you come home and it's
And
pops
it's there.
on.
Yeah.
But we were more complaining about the higher ups. I won't apologize. I'll just say thank you. 'cause,
But at
you
the
know,
same time, the higher ups can only do.
yeah. No, listen.
They're only working with so
Yeah.
much
It-
manpower.
people complain out of frustration, and that's all it is. And you forget
I think
about
this is
the
a good
behind
lesson.
the scenes. It is a good lesson. It's a
Because
good lesson for everybody because I'm not the only
yeah.
one.
No.
I'm the
I
only
know
one
you're
who's got
not.
a platform to say it on.
Right.
And, not the only, but.
everybody complains. Everybody goes off. But it's like, take a look around. It's like, what, they're going to jump. That's why we were walking around my neighborhood. I'm like, 2 days, 3 days, it's dark. I'm like, yeah, but there's no trees down. You can drive around, no major
yeah,
highways
life isn't
here.
that bad.
We're fine.
Can
We're
I
not.
tell you? And
And
this
it's
is,
also like, what am I fucking doing?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
I'm measuring, like, what am I doing?
I watched the documentary, and it wasn't one of my picks, but I watched one about basically if we keep up the way we're. And I'm not a huge global warming guy. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm not like the big advocate. No, but what I'm saying is, I've never been one to like advocate. Like, I'm like a huge environmentally conscious person, which I probably should be. But I watched this documentary, and it really did make me think. And a lot of it was about how life is going to be in the year 2050, and it's if we keep everything going the way we're doing it now.
What's gonna happen? What are they saying?
It's not going to be good.
It's going to be like it may not be like apocalyptic, but it's basically going to be uninhabitable to where we're probably going to be on food like it's one meal a day,
Well, look
and
at,
water's going to be like it's going to be it's. There's a lot of things that we're doing and destroying right now at like a ridiculous scale, and most of it, for me, is I'm not saying it's because of overpopulation, but overpopulation is causing us to just destroy habitats, and in turn, it's just having an economical effect that is crazy. And like I watched this doc, and it was like kind of like an eye opener to me, where it's like maybe. Not that anybody could change it, but we as a world, we really need to stop doing a lot of things that we are doing, and a lot of it comes from, they say, how we eat and just destroying of habitats. And now that I'm on this health kick, it kind of like it was.
What do you mean? How we eat and we destroy habitats?
Because the amount of food and what we're eating
Apparently
is
a lot of
causing
the
them to
methane-
have to almost tear. Like, okay, we're feeding cows grain.
Yes.
By God knows how much, just to feed us, where if we didn't eat those cows, for argument's sake, we could eat the grain that we're giving them and not using up the land that we're using to hoard all these fucking cows. Listen, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on the topic to talk about it. I watched one thing, and it was just kind of eye-opening, the trickle-down effect that certain ways that we're living now are really, like, just destroying. Because I've been watching tons of stuff on the planet from, like, millions of years ago, just from my astronomy interests, and like dinosaur. I'm watching this thing on the First Men. No, but I'm telling you, like I've been watching all this stuff, and it all correlates. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You can laugh at me
No,
all
I'm
you
like-
want,
no, you're
but
like-
it's true.
No, you're right. You're,
No,
you're
you're
a
a
social
I'm with you
commentator.
1,000%.
I am with
I know
you
it's
too.
funny because I'm not the person to.
It's
you know,
funny.
It's funny
as-
the way you're
Yeah, he's just sitting there
explaining it.
smoking a cigarette. It's like, what we eat we're gonna be losing our habitats and
astronomy.
astronomy, and that I seen the and now listen, I don't know much about this at all. I just watched one movie, but it's just the dinosaurs, and I love
but
it.
people like me are the reasons why we need to start opening up to things, because I'm not
I
one
know.
who's ever been
You're-
like that.
You need to be like the transfer of knowledge.
Right.
You're. need
You have
get
to be the guy.
use.
Oh yeah, I'm the channeler.
Yeah, you're the.
Why can't
channeler.
you be the leader?
You should
We
be
were
the
talking
channeler.
earlier. You don't. Maybe you're not a. Maybe you're not the entourage guy. Maybe you're the leader of the clean, healthy life.
Here, I am not a follower. I do what I do. But
Right.
Unless you're rolling.
But you're
I
also
just
not
don't
a
want to
leader,
be the
and-
guy who's got people depending on him. I'd rather depend on somebody else. Just
doesn't
kidding.
sound like a leader.
No,
That sounds like a follower to me. But
no. You know
No.
what? I'm just saying.
On
It's
that for a
crazy,
second-
and I'm glad I'm going to be dead before the world ends.
well,
Although the only way I would
That
want to
should
be
this
alive,
year.
I wouldn't want to witness the world decline and die. Like if an asteroid hits
don't
us,
you think we're watching it?
well, that's what I'm saying. But like, we're not even close to where it's going. Like, if we keep up what we're doing, where it's going to be. And there's people probably
Do you
listening.
think that people are? Do you think that things are going to change though?
No.
Realistically,
Like, no.
No, probably not. Not until it's like already too late.
Exactly.
it might already be too late.
Probably. That's
Well,
grim.
It's definitely.
You know what I
not
saw that
too
was
late.
funny today though? Driving to Long Beach, there's like one wind turbine on the way if you take the Loop
Yes.
Parkway.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think it's a little bit lazy that they just put one wind turbine? What the fuck are you powering with just
Well,
that?
yeah,
That's
I don't
like
know.
just wanting to get credit, but
Yeah.
not.
That's what I'm
doing
saying.
the
I feel
work.
like we're doing
Like-
a half-ass attempt
It's almost
at
like
trying to make
Like,
changes.
you get what I'm saying?
It's like
it-
showing up to a funeral and just writing on the card, like I was here. You're writing your name and address,
Right, and then leaving.
and then just bouncing out.
Yeah, it's
Like,
almost
I was
like it's
here.
a half effort. Like we
Uh,
put one.
yeah, I do see that. I don't know.
Well, and that's what my whole point is too. Is just like we're half-assing the changes that we are making, and they're so slow that I don't think we're too dependent as a world on some of the things. Like we'd have to create, like it'd have to do like a 360, a 180 or whatever on our lifestyles, and I don't see that
Yeah.
happening on a grand scheme.
I think it'll happen generationally, because like I know
Well, you're
I'm
like
probably way more inclined to buy an
Exactly.
electric car than you are.
yes,
Yeah.
your generation and even the kids younger will be the ones who
Yeah.
are.
And then the shit, like as the technology gets better, it gets cheaper.
But think
too.
about how many families how many kids just grow up and are like that. That's why racism's still around.
Yeah.
Because of it's generational, and you'd like to think that you don't ever push it on your kids, but if you're still that way,
It comes
it's
from the
it
family.
it's
Yeah.
gonna trickle
It's gonna
down,
trickle down.
and it won't end because it's gonna carry from generation to generation.
Well, that's why it takes so,
So-
long. And then
So is it
maybe
going to end with the next generation? Because there's a
No,
lot of people
but
out
it'll
there.
get a little bit better.
it gets a little bit better because you see, like, there was like that video of that that came out a few months ago of that daughter talking to her racist parents, and it's
Yeah.
like slowly there's a
That's-
kid will be
yeah.
born and it just slowly gets taken out, but it takes
You don't look at
generations.
anything your parents, grandparents say, and you're like, that's.
Oh
not a-
no,
not a good
I fight with
opinion.
my parents all the time
Yeah.
because there is a generational gap now where
It's just
views
slower.
change. Yes,
Yeah.
but I think it's so slow that it won't have an effect.
It's very slow.
It's very
but
For
I-
this topic, I'm not going to go into like racism or politics, but for just the global warming aspect,
Yeah.
it's a change that needs to.
That's why it's kind of cool. Like I like what Elon Musk does, and makes his shit cool. Because
Yeah.
there's been electric
Yeah.
cars forever, but they look stupid.
No, I agree.
But like the
Yeah.
Tesla comes out, that's a sick car.
But like, I'm the first person to complain about paper straws and all this
well,
shit.
Paper straws are garbage.
No, I know, but like
But
I'm the
I don't
first
like
to
them.
complain
Those
about the
sippy cup
changes,
ones?
and I'm starting to realize like it's a necessity at this point.
I don't need a straw. Why do we gotta?
I like the sippy cup ones.
I could
They
just-
look great.
You know what I'm saying, though. I'm just saying, like,
No, but on
who's the
paper
one who's
straws-
on this podcast who's always complaining, like, oh, there's no plastic bags, and I don't even need them that much. Like, I'm
I
not
know.
shopping for an army
Right.
when I go, and I always do complain. So I'm trying to realize that
See, things are
taking
starting
good
to
steps,
change
man.
right
got
here.
baby steps,
Baby
baby.
steps. I love
Baby
it.
steps, adult baby steps. I like it. I think we're headed in the right direction. The world will change with you.
What would happen to this show if me and you, even if we still did it? I'm not saying we stopped it, but like our lives weren't such disasters.
Well, I
'Cause
gotta
yours
be
really
honest.
isn't.
I think that could be.
But what I'm saying is, do people want me to be normal? I don't care
course.
what anybody
Yeah, I
wants.
think it's just
but
an
is me doing
investment.
well good for the show?
Well, I love how you're putting it in like if like you're gonna do well.
No,
Um,
I'm
you're not.
hypothetically asking.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything
No, I-
right now.
I think-
Listen, I still don't have a job,
I-
which my Red Bull and that job might be back on the table.
All right,
I'm in
baby.
the
Oh,
mix
nice. Hey,
of
listen.
taking the defensive driving course, and that job might come back
Chick,
around.
if I can get my apartment back, you can get
So
the.
things might be
Get the
back
Red
up.
Bull
My
back,
little
bro.
small setback, that's what happens when you stay positive. It might turn into a positive. But you're
I-
not
Next
doing
time
bad.
you
You
go
have a
in
good
there-
job. You do the comedy. You just move out. Chris has never really been like an adult baby. He's just,
Yeah, no.
he's
not
really
so
not,
much.
doesn't fit the mold.
Right.
If I'm not, like, I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm this perfect now, but like,
I-
just for argument's sake, I get a job, I move out, I'm healthy now, like, it's
I
the
think
show
you're putting
loses
yourself
everything.
in my shoes. I think you're talking about me right now.
Because I am the only baby left.
Yeah. So I
Like,
I
this is-
think here's the deal. I think the adult babies is not just you're not doing well. It's the fact that sometimes now this doesn't include you, Chris, because you're younger and you seem to make the right decisions.
Sometimes.
Yes, but we can't sit here and go through your past and critique your decision making yet.
Right.
That's true.
You haven't made anything where it's like, oh wow, why'd you do that?
Well, you guys had a 10-year head start.
Well, that's
Exactly,
that's our
yeah.
point.
That's a good
why,
point.
yeah.
You could literally
That's a
go to
good
my
point.
life and we could sit there. If we want to get really like critical about it, we can critique almost a lot of decisions I've made.
I think even if good things start to happen, the job happens. There's still days where you're like, oh my god, I just dropped a 24 Red Bulls in a 7-Eleven. You know, things happen.
I think part of the show too, and I think is part of our development. And
Who
like,
wouldn't want to
if
see
it's
us do good?
Well,
think
what I'm
that's the
saying is like,
thing,
even though
yeah.
it's about our lives, it's supposed to be about the good, the bad, and everything that happens in our lives and how we
And life is so up and down. Even when things are going good,
you never know what's around
tomorrow
the corner.
it could be a nightmare.
Yeah, COVID
So
could happen again.
I would
Right.
never
It's kinda
worry.
true.
I would never worry about
And I mean, there's always something to talk about. I mean, we haven't, we've talked climate change on this one before we even started recording. We
Yeah.
talked football for like 15 minutes.
Well, I kind of want to get back into
You know
that
what I mean?
because I think outside, even though we're not a sports show and we try and stay away from
We
sports.
do more current events
Yeah.
that have to do with sports sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think for this debate or topic, because I kind of want to touch on it, is football going to happen? I guess that's the overall. Do you think it's going to happen? Should it happen? And how's it going to happen?
I want it to happen.
I also
I think
want it to
most
happen.
people want it. I think everybody wants it, and I think people are so blinded by the fact that they want it that they don't realize how unrealistic it is to succeed. And I could be ultra negative
I'm
and be
with
wrong.
you though. I don't see how it succeeds. The Atlanta Falcons are talking about letting 20,000 fans in a game
I
to
think
an
that's
indoor
nuts.
stadium. I don't think that's
I
going to
think
work
that's
out
insane.
well.
But even if you had 20,000 fans in an outdoor stadium and you sat everybody one every 3 seats,
I wouldn't. feel
people are going to be
comfortable.
high
Oh, I
fiving.
wouldn't be comfortable. I'm
I
just
wouldn't-
saying
yeah, I
to do
wouldn't.
it in an indoor stadium is even crazier.
To find 20,000 idiots to fill that
Oh,
is
you'll
going to
find
be.
them.
Oh no, you
Because
will.
you know the
Fucking
20,000, the
find it.
people that go there are going to be people that
Don't give a fuck.
don't. Yeah.
They're already not wearing masks. They're
Yeah.
already the Karens and Trader Joe's and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
that's already the people there. So I don't think it works
man.
for that.
But like,
How are you
and
going to keep the players
Here's
out
the
of
reason. The only reason why I think basketball and hockey are working, as we talked about prior, is because of the bubble that they're doing. They've done it right. And they're at the end of a season. So the
makes
season's
a big
done.
difference.
They were able to cut out teams, so it's not a full league. And more teams are going to get cut out in the next week to the point where it's just going to be 8 teams that you got to finish
And
it.
they were able to make it a really finite amount of time.
Yes.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to get this done in less than a month.
Exactly. And they're in a bubble, so these guys aren't traveling. The Suns just did a really cool thing where their players got announced. I think it just happened tonight, and I read about it before. Was that they had and other teams are with the families announced the players this year. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This game, the guard, when they came out, the family would be on the screen, and they're the ones who announced them from they
How
satellited
great
them
would
in.
it be if like one of the wives or something like finds out some dirt on their
And instead of announcing them,
that's
you
yeah.
just put them on
great.
blast.
yeah,
I could see
That would be
happening.
amazing.
Andre Ayton, that guy, he cheated on. Just put him on blast right there. I guess they would probably have to pre-record that stuff.
But they did it right, though. They're on a bubble. They're smaller teams. It's
Well,
not
it's
as big
easier to
staff.
You can look at what's happening with baseball.
And go for it.
I mean, it's like 3 teams?
There's
aren't-
like 3 or 4 teams that have played less than 10 games, and other teams that have played closer to 15 already.
Yeah,
Now do that with the roster for football is a lot bigger.
The roster for football and the staff. So you're talking about
And the
60
staff.
players on a roster, right? Is it 60? A 60-man roster?
I think so.
And
Some
at
around
least a
there, I don't know.
25-person staff is probably at every game.
And then probably in Florida, Georgia fans.
I think they would have to go.
But they're going to be traveling. So you're going to have 80 people travel across the country, all over the country, 8 times in 6 months, 3 months.
And what are they doing when the New York players go down to Florida where nightclubs are open? They're not going to go?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
It's
that
gonna
already
happen.
happened in the
And
NBA.
then-
The one guy went.
The
and
one
got-
guy-
Baseball's
yeah.
already having to make up too many games. Like even if they had a few games that got canceled,
Baseball
they could
should have just
Baseball
canceled.
needs to cancel
They
because
need
you're going to have the Cardinals finish the season.
Typical Mets
cancel
fan.
or it doesn't count.
Come on.
He's a Met fan.
I know the Yankees.
they're-
The Yankees are great, and you know what? Yeah,
Yes.
they probably would be arguably one of the favorites this year.
Baseball's gonna figure it out. They're gonna go.
What are they figuring out? How are you
How
going to
do
make up
figure it
20
out when
games at the end of the
so
year?
many of the teams aren't
Eh,
playing.
some of those
They're
teams are
hoping
gonna-
that they said the Cardinals. They're hoping that the 20 games won't matter. They're basically
Are they
hoping
giving
that
them a loss for those 20 games?
no,
then?
they're not playing them. They're hoping when the season ends, the amount of games they have, they'll be able to mathematically say
the
like,
record will show.
the record will show that even if we played these however many
I
games,
don't like that though, because what if you had a losing streak? Those 10
Well,
of
that's
those
what I'm
20
saying.
games.
It's
None of
not-
There's going to be an asterisk next to all this
Right.
stuff this
and
year.
that's why I said you were better off in my opinion, you were better off not starting any seasons this year.
Here's the
Finish the
argument.
ones that were up. Soccer's doing fine because it's not in the U.S. But basketball's doing fine.
Also, bubble,
and hockey's golf is
Yeah.
doing fine.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to push football and baseball this year.
Here's
Give
the
these guys
argument
a
with
different
football.
type of salary and cut out the year.
Here's the argument with football. So now that college football is gone, the big thing is, does the NFL want to jump on having a Thursday night game, a Saturday game, a Sunday, and a Monday, where they could jump on that?
Yeah, they could make money off it.
In
But I
The
don't.
league is
it's
run by
still
players.
not going to change the fact that these guys are traveling and that there's
You're right.
huge
I
rosters,
have another
and it's a full
counterpoint to these.
contact sport.
I think that inevitably teams are going to test positive and the season's going to be ruined. I also think football would be the only sport on at that time. I think, right?
Now let me play.
no, well,
No, it won't because basketball's everything's going to be
all-
running a little later.
yeah, everything's.
And you'll still have some golf over the weekends because golf
Yeah,
is
but
going to
do
run
people
later
really
now.
watch?
There's a lot of people who
yeah,
watch golf,
the
and now with less stuff on, yeah.
See,
there's more-
my thing would be with this: if we go into another lockdown or something
and
like
football's
that,
going on.
what's the mental health of this country going to be? Why don't we just let them watch sports?
Because then here's
Like,
the
I get
reason
it.
you're putting every person that's in those sports now at risk.
Unless
In
they do
theory.
it the right way. I would
But in
like for
theory,
them
if
to-
you're lockdowning
Oh, I
us,
agree.
why are they allowed to work and we're not? Why are these millionaires allowed to make their millions and us peasants have to stay
I
home?
agree with
well,
that.
you're gonna have both sides.
It's
where
a
people-
very
But you
unethical
can-
way to look at it.
Also,
You
the
can
same-
also- you can make the argument that entertainment like that is a public service.
I agree with you.
You could.
I could. You
but
could.
the same
You know?
people that will complain about,
What about the people who don't watch football? I know it's a lot. Most do.
I mean,
I know most do, but a
those
lot
people
don't.
Also, I mean, Netflix is filming again. Like they'll get that. Like,
But they could use that same thing.
I
People
would
who
s-
watch football watch Netflix.
well, I think that I mean a lot of those late night shows they had to pivot and do it from home, but they were considered an essential service because, like,
No,
if you
I
have people just sitting home.
I get it. You got to
with
keep them
nothing,
sane. You got to keep them sane.
What I mean, what
Hey,
kind of
man.
world? are you
Mental
coming
health,
out
I think,
to?
is going to be
maybe
at
that's
an
our
all-time.
way. That's
Mental
our way
health-
to the top.
I
here.
think mental health
What?
is the most overlooked part of this whole
It
pandemic.
Maybe
is.
that's the adult baby's way to the top. Everybody just gets canceled,
And
the
we just
adult
keep going.
We're
And we
the only
just-
people
who
that they have to
cares?
listen to.
Do you realize we didn't miss an episode? We actually
We did
increased our episode. We did more
Yeah.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not
What's
saying
up,
we
guys?
put out better, but we stepped
yeah,
up.
We didn't put up better.
We're here for the
We
people
had
to
some
make
hits
you,
in there
but
and
we're-
a lot of misses.
and we're here to make people's lives a little easier or less stressful. And when they have nothing to do, listen to us. And we're three idiots who probably, well, I have it most likely worse than you.
Even personally,
I don't think that's true.
Not
I
right
I think
now.
you have a good perspective on life.
I think so.
Just recently. This is like a 3-week thing.
I'm joking. You don't have a good perspective on life. No, you do. You do. I don't mean to flip flop. No, I listen.
But
I'm
I
glad-
just see like you can't make up a football game. If a team misses a whole week, that throws the whole entire league for a spin.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays.
Are we
out.
just gonna? Are they just gonna power through it though, or do you think that's the goal? Is that the plan? Like if people get it, take them off and just keep going.
It's not the plan I want, but I think it's their plan.
Because then
I
I
could
was
see it
telling somebody,
happening.
do you want to watch practice player? Like,
I
do you want to
would
watch?
like-
I would watch him.
I'd like
do you
to
want
see
to watch
them
shitty
do-
football?
Is
I
there a
think
way
the-
though that they could do it in just 3 cities?
No.
No.
There's
There's
they
too
need-
many teams
The
like
problem
this.
is there's too many teams and the facilities they need to put a game on. You can't play these professional teams at high school fields. It's not going to happen. I mean, you could,
Right.
but
Maybe
you
they
would
could,
need.
huh?
But
So
could
think
you-
about
could you
32
maybe
teams.
Split it in 4 fields,
But
and just schedule the games where you have one in the morning, one at night, or one Thursday, Saturday. And
my
just-
whole thing is you have okay. So let's say
I
you
don't know.
schedule it in four cities. You have 32 teams. That's 16 games. That means you need 16 fields. Each team needs a practice field.
Right.
More than one practice field because the amount of people. Like you need way too many fields that most cities can probably accommodate in the way that the NFL expects it to be accommodated.
Right.
Like these guys aren't going to be playing at
Well,
Howitt.
some of these guys are going to have to take.
But my point is that's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah. I
In
don't
this,
like that.
if you wanted to do them all, I mean, yeah, I guess in theory you could have all these colleges practice at high school fields, and then have the games at the Meadowlands. Like I'm just trying to think out.
They're
Like,
still going to
yeah.
be traveling though.
but they're
They're
still
gonna be traveling, but they'll be traveling the same way the
But they'll
NHL
be in
is
just
traveling.
they're just traveling in the state though.
Right.
NHL is still traveling. They're just traveling between 2
But now all the
states
owners are
instead
saying now that the teams that host all these games, what is all the profits get split between all the owners now, or is it the team that's hosting it?
of- I don't know.
So you know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
so many variables I think for football that I want it to work, but I'm not gonna lie. This year I'm a sports nut, and I've came to it's almost been like nice to not have any sports to watch. because I'm so into them that they
What
cause
do
me
you mean?
aggravation.
I disagree with
But
that.
no, like you watch them all the time, and now I've been able to watch this year. I mean, not that I'm a little different because I always watch a lot of TV and stuff, but I haven't missed it because of all the other things I could watch and do now, or
Right.
it's just like
Chicks Picks is firing on all cylinders.
no,
because
but
of
I'm just
sports.
saying like it's just 1 year. I don't think it's gonna be a permanent. So to me, canceling 2 sports for the year is not the end of the world.
Aren't you kind of interested to see though? Like, yeah, maybe it's a disaster.
But no, I'd rather not see it and have them wait a year and then do it right.
I kind of
I'd like for
to
them
see
to
it.
do it right. If I don't think they're going
Yeah,
to.
I don't enjoy and I don't want to watch a team get sick and then the whole thing is just ruined. Like to me, that would be worse. Getting invested in something and it's going and then it just ends again.
Well,
like
I think you
basketball
can't be
did.
invested in any of this.
But then, what's the
No.
point of even trying?
I
Like,
think
why
they're
not just
trying because
why not
there's-
call the year a wash, sports
I
wise?
think they're trying because the sponsorships involved. So
I understand there's money,
I
but
get why
like,
they're doing it, but also if you're looking like, is it guaranteed that it's going to come back next year? Then
yeah, if you play things smart, if you keep things going and you're trying to do things and you're making it and you're keeping it going. You get what I'm saying?
get
like
what you're saying,
instead
but-
of locking it down and nothing's going so it doesn't spread, you're just putting another few thousand people at risk unnecessarily to entertain us. I mean, I know it's
I
weird
just
coming
think-
from me because I
No,
do
I-
want it.
I
I'm
just
just
think that-
I get
okay
it.
with
I
the
get what
year.
you're saying. I
I'm
think
just not confident that by next year, if there's no vaccine, we're going to be in a better
Well, aren't they
spot
already
than we are right now.
putting a vaccine? Did I read that there's a
Yeah,
vaccine
Russia's
right
got
now?
one.
Russia's got.
Russia's
I'm not
got
saying
one,
it's good or
but
trusting it, but
that's the thing.
come
Like,
on.
you taking that first round?
no,
That's the thing.
I'm not taking any. rounds.
I don't trust anything for a year.
If it's not mandatory,
Yeah.
Chick will not be taking it.
Okay.
Like, no, I won't.
I don't
Chick
get the
stop
flu
talking
shot.
in the
I'm
third
with you.
person?
I don't.
I have another thing with this whole situation we're going through. So I have a wedding coming up that was originally canceled.
Okay.
So the wedding was supposed to be in September.
Is this the guy in our league?
Yes. I want to
Okay.
get your take on this. Wedding's supposed to be in September. They canceled it. They're going to put it in next March, all right? They waited a little too long as far as I'm concerned for
To cancel it?
they told me I'm the best man.
You're the best man?
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that.
I'm surprised.
If it's the person I'm thinking, I'm shocked.
I'm a co-best man
Okay.
with a guy that I've been co-best man with already.
Interesting dynamic.
Your group of friends, that's why, because you're all very close. Like,
I've never not been in a wedding. I feel like every wedding I'm in the wedding party or one of the best men at this point.
my best thing is like people who think that people care when they're not in the wedding party. Like, I'd
That
rather
makes
go to
me
the
nuts.
wedding without going. Like, don't put me in.
Yeah,
If I'm on the
easier.
fence, don't put me
That's
in.
a
It's
lot of extra
easier.
work.
If it's not a guarantee that I should be in it, I don't want to be. in it.
Exactly. This is I think this was a guarantee. I
No,
would
that's
be
what I'm
in
saying.
it.
Like certain people, you would expect to be in it. If I don't expect to, I don't want to be in it.
right.
I'll tell you, in this particular
Yeah.
case,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
absolutely get what you're saying.
in this particular case, the guy has a brother, and I thought the brother would be a best man.
Can I tell you that bothers me when people don't pick the brother because I feel like
Bothers me too.
it's weird.
Apparently, there's some issues in there. I don't want to get too into that, but it
Okay.
doesn't matter. The thing is, they pushed the wedding back because of COVID. Okay, I get it. September was going to be the wedding. They pushed it to next March. I got on their ass a little bit because they didn't put out any. They told us, the wedding party, that we're going to push it back, but they didn't tell anybody else that it's canceled. So this is a few months
yeah.
ago. They finally finally sent out all the.
So how many months prior to their wedding did they cancel? Did they tell everybody it was canceled?
Man, I want to say June, that July.
I think that's
you got
okay.
plenty of time.
I think you're being a little ridiculous on that. How
All right.
often, do you need more than 2 months notice for a wedding cancel?
Also-
well, yeah, I think it's out of state and it's in state, but it's 4 hours away from here. So people from around here had already taken off, and
Taken off when
know
though?
what?
I
At
mean, they probably
hotels.
had off with
All
COVID.
right.
And when you take off, listen, I could work now.
Yeah. And with the hotel
I get it.
cancellations and stuff, they're being super
You
flexible.
could-
Also, early on, it was like, oh, we'll be fine by July. Oh, we'll be fine by August.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of true.
You know what? When it got to like July, it was like we're a couple months away, and we're like, well, you have to tell people.
Yeah.
They didn't even let people know that.
But in my opinion, once they knew, they should have just sent it out
Well, that's what I'm
instead
saying.
of holding on to it. But I also think you're saying June, even
Couple
July,
months
it's pretty ample time to cancel your plans. Or,
You're right. It is,
Yeah.
but it's also
It's
like,
annoying,
Yeah.
but the whole
It's-
thing is annoying.
It's when you're traveling. People need to know. You know. So. Anyway, the other day I get a call from the wife, and she goes, the future wife. She goes, "Hey, so there's I want you to I don't know if you could do it, but the time that we're supposed to get married, we would love you to be there as a witness." So they're still doing the wedding,
Yeah.
but they're going to get married in September,
Yeah,
right?
because they still, you know what? There's a lot of people who still want to get it done, and they
Yeah.
were looking forward to it. I don't blame them.
I don't either.
I think that's great. I know someone who did the same thing, did it in their backyard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now they do the. I said, all right, if I can get off, it's it's August, it's next month. It's like if I can get off, I can I'll definitely go out for the weekend, and I'll be a witness there. That was yesterday. Today I get a frantic text and a call from the groom, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, we made some changes." So right away, I'm like, what's going on? So he goes, the situation is this. He canceled the wedding in March, where we're all going to get together, where they already sent out the re-invitations.
But it's in March. I mean, that shit doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but now it's getting annoying.
It's getting annoying, but here's my thing. There's no rule book on how to handle a new wedding that was canceled
yeah.
because of COVID.
Definitely.
So in their defense, most people don't have to deal with it. Yes, it's annoying. They probably don't know what to do.
Oh, no,
They
they're in
want
a
to get married.
they're in a
So-
rough spot. But if I'm getting all those re-invitations, and
Yeah, it's
stuff, I'm like,
annoying,
what the
but
fuck?
it's not the end of the world. Annoying.
Okay.
It's paper.
So we're
Environment.
canceling March,
See, you should be the maddest because they're wasting.
and September now, a month away,
They're going back to it.
they're going to that, but they're going to do a small bar under 50 people.
Okay.
Is that legal?
That's a month away now.
Here's my thing. They could do it, but they can't be mad if people can't make it now.
They're not mad at people that can't.
So then
make it.
I don't think you should be annoyed. If you make it, you go. If you can't now because of
First
the
of all, I don't feel comfortable going with.
Oh, so
I
you're,
thought
you're
the limit was
people.
10.
so your issue is more with the people in the bar.
I don't. It's an indoor bar. I don't want to be around 50 people. I don't know that. well.
That's what I'm asking. So I'm
That's a
saying
lot
your
of
issue
breathing.
now is how they're doing it, like
So,
the actual
Here's
environment.
my issue, and I speak of this because I know they don't listen. I
And
don't
even if
think-
they did, who cares?
Yeah. Well, I would care a little bit. I think that give it a shot in March. Why not wait? What is at this point? Everything's being shut down. The NFL's, we think the
Who
NFL's
gives a fuck about the NFL?
You
That's
know
why
what,
it shouldn't
though?
even be. The NFL shouldn't even be into it.
I know, but I'm using that as a.
Okay.
You got
like,
a good point though. It's almost rude to ask people to pack into a bar.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
I
where it
just think
gets
it's
shaky
nuts.
to me. To
Like,
me, the
now, if I
shaky
don't
issue
go, I'm an
is.
asshole. But
Well, no.
but
To
you're
me, if you don't go,
okay.
you're not an asshole now.
No, I agree. But like,
They're
No, you're
setting
not.
themselves up for having a very
and
low.
they know that, and they're being
Well,
very
that's good.
being very good about it.
So if that's the case, if they're being cool about it and you're not comfortable, you go to the thing that you are comfortable with and you leave before the other thing.
I just don't like the way it's handled.
But that's not, unfortunately, and I understand that, not everybody's going to handle things the way you'd like them to, and especially in this where there's no rule book on what to do when you
There
cancel
is no
a wedding.
rule book, but there's also like they
Common
have
sense. I get it.
They have
There's
a
like-
place in March.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's do March.
You know what I think is going to happen? They're going to probably have whatever they have, or they're going to have a lot of people tell them we can't make it, and it's going to be like, all right, looks like we're doing it in March.
I think what happened was this. I think these guys went to a bar. They were planning on doing the, where me and the other best man, we go and we witnessed that.
Yeah, yeah.
They were, and I think they went to a bar and they were like, hey, listen, we're going to have a small family get-together.
You can't just
And the bar, upstate, New
upsell
York,
them.
was like, all right, well, we're good. Cancel with your big plans over here, and we'll just have it here. We could do under 50. And they were, and they got
Sold.
They got
sold.
All right.
And they don't realize that.
You don't think any part of them called around looking? You think it was really like that? Like that's how you really think it
Well,
happened?
I think at 9:00 last night, I got a call that's saying, just the family we want you and the best man to be here to witness it. And then today they went to a bar and they canceled March. And now,
But what I'm saying was, were they going to the bar with intentions of seeing if they could hold it there?
no, I think they were going to the bar to see if they could do like an after kind of with like just.
Well, then maybe
us.
they realized, why do this twice? If they're going to do it, and we're going to have a small get-together anyway, why do it again in March? Why not just make, like...
Well,
By that
because
time, it's already done.
You have to know in
Right, like-
March that.
I'm trying to be,
No,
like...
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, like, because then you want to get married again.
Yeah.
Like, you just got married. You do it again.
Well,
and
when you
these
get
people,
married,
how
you
long
don't-
have they been engaged? Like, how long has it been since they were, like... Since
oh
they got
God,
engaged?
who knows? I don't even know. A year.
Roughly.
A year.
So they get... It's... these people have been waiting this...
I know they want to, but Chris, before you get married,
Would
like,
you put your
have to-
life on hold to convenience others? Well, you probably would, but...
I think well, the before
You
you
get
get
what I'm
married,
saying?
They're
No,
doing the
you
court
have to
thing.
do the court thing.
So
right? But I'm
they-
saying, so 9 months after you do the court thing and you're legitimately married, how much of you still wants to have that party?
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
a lot
That's
of
what I'm
people.
saying.
A lot of people.
I'm with you 100%.
Wouldn't you rather have all your
No.
friends and family there? Than,
I personally,
I-
if I got eloped, I would be content. I'm the
Yeah,
wrong
Well,
person.
I
to
mean,
I'd
ask.
be fine with that too.
I'm the
It's
wrong
fine.
person
well,
to
then
ask.
you guys are. I think most people would.
But I
they're-
wouldn't do something if I want to get married. And you're talking about my life, like you're talking about a big step or a big moment in their lives. I would not make that decision based off of convenience of others, and them might be not liking the way I do it. I don't give a fuck.
I
about
understand
you.
that,
It's
but
my
don't you
life.
think-
It's my life and it's my wedding?
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I know that, I
and I'm
get.
giving you ample time for you, like my close people, to make it. I'm not holding you to it if you don't come to the thing.
That's the big
But this is where it's happening. You make it, I'd love you for it. If you don't, I get it.
Yeah.
As long as that's the mentality, I'm fine with it.
That's the big thing. I just think it's one of those where, like, you'd struggle to say no, especially if they're really close to you, but you might feel very uncomfortable.
Be there. Yeah.
I'll probably end up going,
I know you
but
will.
I just don't like the flip flopping.
Listen,
you
and
know-
I agree with you. It's
And I
not
think-
fun, but
and here's the thing, and I get like, yeah, maybe you don't want a big wedding, but don't you think when on a big day of your life, wouldn't you want like just to push it back? It's
But you're
amazing
not
how
talking about a couple months, man. You're talking about September's three. You're talking about 6
almost
months.
we're talking
And
about
that's
7 months.
7 months, and you're still talking.
It's
That
not
March
that long.
date is not guaranteed. If they're guaranteed to be able to do it in a month,
You know what though? I think March gives us a lot more time than next month.
But we said
But
that
right-
about
Exactly.
June.
And right now,
Yeah.
they're having okay to have it with this many people,
Yeah.
regardless of how things go, probably. So, in my
They
opinion,
have an okay from some backwoods
okay, but that's
bar.
what they. But it's not. It doesn't matter to you, dude. You know what I mean? It's their marriage and it's their decision.
If you were getting married though, wouldn't you?
You said you wanted to hear our opinions. Is your goal to try and convince us
No,
to feel like you?
No, not at all. But I just think if you were getting married, I think it's going to backfire on them.
I think it's going to backfire. See, I don't know if I look at it as a backfire.
I think
they
someone's gonna get COVID.
Well, exactly.
I think
What
that's
if
the
God forbid that
backfire.
does happen?
No, to me, I think that,
All right. So I'm already in side text with a bunch of people,
of course,
and they're
and they all agree.
they either want to go because to watch the nightmare unfold, or they don't want to go.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't you rather like March is that you're in love officially? You are married by the court. You will walk down the aisle when your whole family can go. Why not wait 7 months? Maybe 7
See,
months.
that part doesn't matter to me.
And exactly,
Yeah. That you're not hitting that with me. Like it's not.
You don't think next year maybe we're in a little better situation than we are?
I mean, we
right now?
may-
Oh, no, I think we are. That's just not, to me, not the most important part.
What is the most
The
important?
marrying your wife.
Yeah.
And that's how they're looking at it. You're looking
Well-
at it as a party
Well,
that
they're-
they should
no,
want.
No. They're marrying. They're getting married. They're planning on getting married by themselves.
Dude, if they
anyway.
have 30 people who show up to them, it's still going to be a great night for them.
Yeah. with that.
Even if the 20
I
friends,
disagree. I don't think it will be.
because you think that you guys are the only way it's going to be fun.
No, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be sad. This is your wedding night.
But maybe it's not sad to
I
them,
don't-
dude.
yeah, I don't think so.
Like that's what I think you're missing. You're looking at it as sad because it's not this extraordinary wedding thing like the ones you've been to. When maybe these two people don't care about the, like at the end of the day
I
they
think
realize.
the groom doesn't care. I've talked to the bride. This is a
But I think
terrible
maybe-
thing.
Yeah, it is terrible, but at the end of the day, maybe they realize the good outweighs the bad with getting married now in a small situation than waiting 7 months and hoping that we're still going to be able to do it in March. Because that's not a guarantee. And I
Right.
think
I think it's more of a
I
guarantee.
think it's closer, but you're saying it's more of a guarantee. They've obviously got a guarantee. There's no ifs, ands about it that they are allowed to have 50 people here.
I
So
think
you
they
keep
found.
on-
I think they found a place that's.
Okay,
Wants
but,
the money.
but they
That's
have
what
a
I think.
guarantee though. They're not worried about it not happening. So now they're just trying to get as many as they can. To me, they have a guarantee to do it next month or 2 months, as opposed to, you're right. It most likely will go on and be better. But there's still a possibility that if we don't have the shit in hand, that might even get canceled. And now you're waiting
Yeah.
a year and a half.
I get
and
that.
you haven't done anything.
I get that. I just think that, you know what, next March is not that far away. If you really think about it, we're already in August.
Feels like a
It
life.
feels like a lifetime away.
does, but it's-
I feel like now more than ever, it's further than anything because now
Yeah.
every week things can change. It's like I can't even think about what's going to happen. And like, think about Halloween.
Halloween's canceled.
But that's my point, though. Is like,
Yeah.
Well, 7 months ago, we were already a couple months into this COVID thing, so it's not that far away, realistically thinking.
no, we got into COVID in March. It's
Yeah,
fucking.
we got COVID in March. I mean, it started in January.
but
Oh,
we
okay.
got it in March.
Yeah.
March, yeah.
Listen, I get it. I know it went by, the 4 months went by quick.
It goes by
But,
fast.
but
that's all I'm
things
saying.
going by are different than looking ahead
But they
when you
also-
have all this shit in front
They
of
go
you.
by quick when you're not waiting to get married. Who knows how quick it's going by for them? What if they're like, you just want to do this?
Yeah, like that,
And then
that's
it's
what,
not quick.
And that's what I'm saying is like
You know?
I feel like for them, and I'm sure a lot of people I know who've canceled their weddings wind up getting married and having a small get together as opposed to pushing it
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Because you've been looking forward to this. You've spent so much time and energy setting it up that
I get that. But
do they
that's
want
why-
the stress to go now? Now if they push it to March for the next 7 months of during this COVID thing, where you just get to relax, they're planning and worrying about their wedding.
And
And you don't have to.
Is it going to get canceled again?
Yeah,
Like
and
that.
now
I
that's
think
7
there's
more
less
months of
of a
stress.
chance of getting canceled.
But
Even
it's
if
7 more months of stress. How would you handle that?
I don't think. Is it that much stress?
Yes.
Oh,
V, have you planned a
yeah.
wedding?
Yes,
Ask your
several.
sister.
No, I think at the point that they're in March, they already have it all set. At that point, you have so much, almost 2 years.
I
of
totally
it.
disagree.
couldn't
Because
disagree
you still
more.
have to wait for the day to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Like I think most people who get married always say like, "I'm just glad I don't have anything else to do," and they just want to enjoy it. I don't think anybody would sign up for another more 7 months of stress.
Nah.
And I don't care if you don't
Especially if
think
it's
it's that
uncertain.
stressful. I think you don't. I personally think you don't even. It's like something me where I say things about parenting when I have no business saying it. You
I
can't say that.
it. I get. They just want it to be them, but I think at the end of the day, they're gonna look back and be like, if we just waited 7 more months,
Yeah,
we
but-
wouldn't have gotten married in the back of a Chili's. That's all I'm saying.
But they're not getting. I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
I think at the end of the day, they'd be like, yeah, maybe we should have waited.
To me, if I'm
few more
marrying
months.
the
You know what,
person
man?
that
I
I
don't
love
think-
and supposedly want to
Yeah.
spend the rest of my life with,
Of
which
course,
You know
I
what?
don't
I'll
give a
throw
fuck
a
if I get
fucking
married
party
in a
next
fucking
year.
alley.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Like, he just in that grand scheme of things, like you just lock down the love of your life. Supposedly, I don't see where you get married making a difference.
I just think
You know what I'm saying?
I
look
get that.
down
I
on-
think it would
yeah.
I think it would be like, man, remember in COVID when we got married and
I
we had to
think that
do it
it's even
there?
a more romantic
Exactly.
story.
To me, I think it's a better story to
Yeah.
say that than to look back at it like you, Debbie Downer, like,
No, you know what? I'm
Do you-
leaving some stuff out.
Do
I
you
guess.
look at the
I-
Jim and Pam story in disgust?
No.
Because they
This is a
made
lot
the
different than
best
Jim
out
and
of a shitty situation. Her veil broke, and he
Um,
cut his tie off.
I'm leaving.
And
all
they
right.
had the
All
best
right.
wedding.
No, you know, you guys are right, and I'm probably leaving some stuff out that
would maybe have an effect on
Yeah.
how we view things.
yeah,
Okay.
and I see what you're saying.
To me, I'm an
I get
impatient
that.
person. I couldn't wait.
I
like
would not.
when things are coming up, I'm excited to do them. I can't imagine something
Well,
that big that I'm looking forward
this
to
past
wanting to
few
wait.
months has been the slowest few fucking months of my life. You
Of
know how much
course,
work
yeah.
I put into planning to be
Yeah, you were
gone?
supposed to
Like,
be
a lot
gone,
of
yeah.
work into that, and now I'm just
Here, he's sitting here recording this when he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Not that you didn't want to, but you know what
no,
I mean.
but it's like, you know,
you're settling.
sitting, waiting for them to open a board or something I have no control over, just like this wedding thing. And these have been the slowest 3, since May, so however many months that is.
And they probably talk about it every night.
I'm sure they
Like
do.
I just feel like
It's
they
just
just
a
want it
fucking- No,
I know.
over.
I get that. I get that whole thing.
And I totally get the annoyance for everybody else.
no.
Yes.
Listen,
No, because it is annoying.
They're-
That I do
Having
get.
to make plans, cancel them, then retake. Like it's annoying.
their
all the
wedding is not
paper
an
they're
annoyance to me. I am very big on. I don't like the fact that people complain when they're not invited to a wedding. What they do for their wedding is their thing. I just think that they could wait and they can get. It would be much better for them.
You see potential.
He just sees potential to have a more glorious wedding, and I don't disagree with you. I think you're looking at it in a.
You know, the more I think about it, I'm leaving out a lot of things in this, and it's.
If they don't
you're
listen,
right.
can we talk about them? Why are you
No,
leaving
I-
them
I-
out?
no, I don't
I
feel
think
comfortable.
based on
Okay.
what you're saying, though,
Yeah, just based off of what you're saying, I get the frustration
I
and
do get
and annoyance for everybody.
Yeah.
But I also, to me, I'm siding
I
with the
can't
groom and the
fault
wedding.
anyone who's like, you know what, we're just gonna do it in our backyard because
Yeah.
I'm not waiting.
Listen, personally, I think they should scratch the bar
Well, I
and do
think
it
if
in the
they did it
backyard.
in their backyard, that would be fantastic.
I think that'd be great.
but
and-
they're
and-
doing it in.
If I were you, I would try
Enclosed.
and push them more towards. Why don't you just scratch the bar and cater it and do it at a
Exactly.
backyard?
That's-
shit too.
I
yeah.
would be totally comfortable.
And-
with
and-
that.
cool.
And that I think it could have been a wedding or something else I saw in a backyard. Or I was driving down the other day, and a lot of people I think are doing like they're getting married by themselves. Or another friend of mine, they canceled the wedding, but instead they had they did it at the church with the immediate family, and that was it. And they had their they get their wedding day, and then the rest you figure out. But it's
Yeah.
you got married, you're married, like the
You got
anticipate.
You got this date saved for a year,
Yeah.
and then
Some of these people,
comes,
2
and they're
years.
Like, just push it back.
Think about the people who waited 2 years to get married this year and are getting
Yeah.
pushed back.
I know it's
You
awful.
want them to
It's
wait
an
another
awful-
7 more months?
The whole thing is awful. It's awful.
That's what I'm saying. There's no right or wrong.
there isn't.
There's no.
There's no
right or
rule
wrong.
book on and there's no rule book on how to cancel a wedding.
Ah.
You know what I mean? And start it back up
Right.
and do it to cater to everybody that you
I
want
just
to be
wish.
there.
I just wish I wasn't dropped this.
You just chalk this up to 2020 being a shit
Of
year.
course. That's what it is.
Oh, that's everything.
That's what I'm
it is.
saying. That's how you chalk everything up. It's just
I think
like
it could have been handled better.
I
That's
think
it.
a lot of things
I
could.
think
I
all
think
right.
the not knowing how to handle things is why people are making wrong decisions.
Well, and just we're all finding out that we don't know how to handle things.
Yeah, we don't.
We're just-
we don't.
Curveballs are hard to hit.
Curveballs are really, it's
They are
like the
real
difference
hard.
between a fucking pro and a
Yeah.
chump.
Oh God.
That's why I love the Jordan documentary. They were talking the first couple of weeks. He got off to like a 12-game hitting streak, and then they said Francona was just saying, just waiting for them to start throwing him curveballs.
Yeah.
But he actually, in Jordan's defense, though, he said he did bat higher. He shouldn't have been in Double-A, and he should have been started in Single-A, but the facility couldn't hold all the press. So they played him in a league that he shouldn't have, and he didn't have enough bats because of the strike season. But Terry Francona said if he had the bats that most minor league players would have gotten, he totally said with his work ethic and the way he was
would've
hitting
made
everything, he probably would have made the majors. He's not saying he would have been like an all-star, but he's saying he would have made it. He would legitimately make
Did
it.
they take like his name recognition into consideration? Because
As
like
far
Tim
as what?
Tebow played for the Mets.
I'm sure that helped get him a foot
I'm
in the
sure
door.
that- yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean? But he trained, and they said when he played in the Double-A team. It's not like they put him at Triple-A or
That's
I
pretty
think,
cool.
but I also think Tim Tebow's coming was right out of I think he played baseball in college, maybe, or I don't know what his
see. I
story
don't know
was
his
I'm not sure
exactly.
what he did. I think
Yeah, I
he
don't-
might have.
But that's the thing, curveballs, man.
Yeah,
and as
curveballs.
society, we don't handle things.
We don't
and
handle
and you know what?
curveballs,
I know
man.
we got into it last week, and I don't mean to get back into it, but like the whole pedophile thing, where people just don't handle
That's a
things.
change up, man.
Like the whole country, like the whole power, like the higher ups and the powers that be are
We're
just
just ignoring it.
we're just ignoring it. Like we don't. As a
Dude,
soc-
can I just say one thing with pedophiles? This is so weird. When during the apartment tour, everything was fine. I forgot to say this. You just jotted my memory.
Good.
She goes, we look at the apartment, and then she hands me over the, we got to do a background check, just in case you're a pedophile or something.
She said that?
How weird is
Do you
that?
tell her
fucking
we
strange.
can't joke about that in this day and
Dude,
age?
it's what I thought. Me and my dad walked out of there. We looked at each other like the pedophile comment?
What the fuck?
What was that?
Some people just don't have that awareness about comedy.
I
Like they
also-
don't know
in
what's
case you're a
funny and what's not,
pedophile
or
or
what's
something.
like appropriate.
just social
bizarre.
interaction.
It's just
skills
some
missing,
people just
yeah.
socially are not.
Oh my god.
They're just socially inept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's just not something you say, especially when you're trying to sell your apartment.
Right. I mean, you just reminded me that right now, and I was like, oh, it was so weird.
That's like trying to sell your apartment. Like, hopefully, there's no ghost in this closet.
Right. Yeah. Please don't
I
talk about
watched
ghosts.
last night about a 38-minute video from John Paul Ryan. He was like a director from what were the movie? I don't know. It was a bunch. He's done a bunch of shit. He's like a well-known director, and he put this whole shit on blast about how it really does go on,
Yeah.
people he knows, and like seeing things firsthand. I'll send you guys the link. It's just like I'm really like. At first, I'm like, it's not everybody.
Can you send me that? Because
Yeah, no,
I'm
no,
still
100%
in
gonna
the
send
It's
it.
not everybody camp,
Exactly.
but more and more people.
And
are
this
getting
is,
roped
yo, listen,
into
the more and more you hear, and this is what my buddy who first brought it up to me when I told him no and he was busting my balls, like, I'll show you. I was like, no way. And, like, I thought it was a lot, and now I'm thinking it's, like, common fucking practice in Hollywood, where it's, like, so out there that these people, like, but it's so hard to believe. It really is.
Seems really
I
tough
don't
to
know.
believe.
The whole
It
thing
just,
seems crazy.
dude, the whole thing is just, it's absolutely nuts. And to me, the more this shit comes out, it's gonna fucking shock everybody. I think it really is.
I'll be
They're
waiting.
talking about
I
people
don't know.
getting trained from like Haiti to Britain for the like all the majesty and
This
all that
sounds like
shit.
a lot of clickbait.
That's the thing. It's so grand. I can't believe that. Okay, so they took these people from Haiti to Britain. Who flew the plane? That guy hasn't said anything.
But they're saying it. I mean, and that's the whole thing.
That's
Is it,
the I need
if
to
you're
see
making
their
millions, are you
say.
gonna ruin it? I mean, I know it's not ethical and it's completely
Yeah,
wrong.
You gotta think
but
someone though is saying
But
something.
the people have.
Yeah.
And you know when we were talking about Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, you guys when you guys made fun of me for
two
bringing them
Corey,
up,
yeah.
the two Coreys. I read another article, and it was all about how, and now there's like a hashtag for Corey Feldman, like we are with Corey. That's
Huh.
like everybody's saying that he was fucking right, and that's why Corey Haim had his drug problem and eventual death.
It's possible. I don't know. The whole
Like
thing
they're,
just
they're
sounds
they're
like
making
a
it
lot of,
seem that all these people who ever did come out, like everyone's like, where were all the people who said it? And then they're saying like, this person came out and said it, that person came out and said it, and look what's happened to all these fucking people.
Huh.
I've even in this video I'll send you, they were even talking about how Britney Spears and Miley Cyrus and these girls when they were young were girls who were getting raped or molested, whatever they were doing to them, and that's part of the reason why these people had. It's not child actors become drug addicts. They're saying child actors who get molested and abused become drug addicts. Like that's
Right.
what like that's kind of how it portrayed a lot of the child stars who like everybody's wondering why what happened to them happens, and they're starting to be like a lot of light of the people that said things in the past and gotten blackballed, and I'm starting to really think that this is a lot.
Oh, you're on board.
I'm not.
You're
Listen,
definitely
definitely
on
on
board.
I'm getting on board. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
lie.
You're not. You are on.
Dude, it
board.
just I think it makes it's just not that far fetched for me, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm still holding by Tom Hanks, and I don't think he's involved.
It just seems like a lot of clickbait, a lot of memes that I've seen. Like,
Dude, everything's
Yeah.
click.
Like-
If you say that,
It's
you could
just-
use clickbait for everything now.
It is-
Is that
it's
is
as
that your way to
memey-
just?
it's just a meme thing.
It's as memey as the flat Earth.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that I don't
You know what
I don't
mean?
agree.
Like it's just
They were saying how BLM and all these other divided issues that are going on, the divisive issues that are going on, are all like there's no Democratic and Republican Party. It's all these. It's basically this reign of pedophiles on this grand scheme.
But this is the problem.
No,
This
but
is
this is
where-
what I'm saying. It's so.
this is where it loses me though. because
It's so
always-
grandiose. Like it's and I get it why it's far-fetched, and that's why I'm telling you I'm not completely in on it.
That's the thing. It
I'm
makes
just
so
starting
much
to think that
sense.
it may be more likely than we think it is.
I think it's probably part true because it makes sense.
Yeah,
but then
this-
it's like, and it's because of the Jews.
but no, but they're
You
not
know,
saying
it's
that.
like- and
What
it's
they-
like, and it's because the Democrats are actually demons.
No,
It's like,
they're saying that everybody on the
same-
higher ups are all
like-
together, and they're using all this divisive stuff to keep
But,
our
like,
minds
that's
off
the
of it.
same argument they were doing like New
They
World
used
Order 20 years
this
ago.
guy, the
Like,
John Paul Ryan, because he's in the Hollywood. He's a director. Said that the reason why there's so many reboots and rethings is because they're trying to keep like ideas. Like if you let all these
Oh, God,
directors
now we're
come
getting
up
into-
with all these creative.
This just sounds crazy.
Well, one of
Chuck.
his movies just got taken off of Amazon because
and
they
is
thought
he
it was
a little bitter about it.
no. He
right.
said he doesn't even care. His movie's on Vimeo now. I'm about to watch it tonight, but the whole movie's about pedophilia, about children getting like it's about higher ups.
Is it John Paul Ryan?
also-
John Paul Ryan? The movie's called A Child's Wish.
Is
or
it possible that it got taken down though because it was inaccurate?
no.
It's
It's
not
a movie.
possible.
It's not supposed to be a fictional movie. It's a non. It's
Oh,
a.
okay.
It's. I mean, it's not supposed to be a non-fiction.
It's not supposed to be
It's,
non-fiction. Okay.
it's a movie that he made it, and it's all based off of people who are in the air, like are in the scene and know what's going on. So they made a movie about it. They didn't
Okay.
make it like a documentary or.
I look up
a
John
movie-
Paul Ryan, and all I'm getting is Paul Ryan.
Let
the-
me.
the
I'll send you
politician.
it. Don't worry. Like I'm not
I'm
gonna
trying
not
Plot
send it
twist.
to you.
It's the same
Yeah,
guy.
it's the same guy, right?
But my point is, it's just
It's always so crazy.
Ian
because
yelled at me for saying my point is a lot. Do I say that a lot?
Yes.
I'd have
Well,
to
I'm
pay
trying
more
to.
attention.
I'm trying to stop saying it, but I can't help it because when I'm trying to make a point,
Because
that's
your
what I
point
use.
is-
But his whole thing was that it got taken off of that because of the content that whatever it's too close to home for these people. That's why they took it off Amazon, and now he's on Vimeo trying to and people. He's not even like it's free on Vimeo. I'm watching it for free. It's not like he's making
yeah.
money. But I'm gonna watch the movie to see
Yeah.
how it is. I'm just saying I wouldn't be as surprised now with all this stuff coming out. The more I read up on it and the more I see about it, yeah, it's huge and it's almost too big to believe. But I'm starting to be. I was 50-50 and now I'm like 60-40.
Oh, you're on it.
No, I'm not on it though. I'm just. I think it's interesting, man. People want to be in the clouds about things and just
like the
hope that
Wayfair
this shit doesn't
thing?
go on. And I'm.
Did we ever talk about that on
What?
here? The Wayfair thing where they were selling cabinets for like 10 grand.
No,
Oh, do you guys know this story at all?
no, but let's
No.
go. I like
Dude,
it.
so this is where it got me from. Oh, this can't be real until it's a little bit real. Like Wayfair got caught selling cabinets on their website, and like other like cabinets, cupboards, and shit like that.
Yeah.
Pillows, $15 pillow. But when you enter a name of a missing kid, that you can pull up the missing children report of it, and you enter this kid's name, it's $15,000.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you,
weird.
and
That was
everyone's
weird,
saying
man.
this stuff is like not happening, and I'm telling you, humans. Listen, you go through all these things. I have no faith in humanity anyway. So to put some sick and twisted shit on, it's not surprising for me. I don't have.
But definitely look that one up because there's countless videos of people
Yeah, and that-
putting
and-
in names of missing kids, and suddenly your $50 cabinets go up to 20 grand.
Yeah, and this guy is
who
saying,
found
and this
that
guy
first?
puts a lot
That
of
I
stuff.
don't know.
It's like, the computer, they could do that. You could.
You could.
But who's controlling all that?
But who's looking at Wayfair and find and like,
Maybe
I
it's
put
a
in a missing.
whistleblower or something.
Could be.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Or maybe it's just a glitch in their website.
did you hear the thing
But-
about when you type in movies, something in the Google search, it's all pictures, and you put it up? I actually did it too, and it works. Somebody posted it on Facebook, and I forget what it was. If you type in movies, something with movies, and it's supposed to be like cinema, and all it is kids, like naked. It's like pedophilia page. It's crazy. And that's all that comes up in the images. There's a lot of like sick and weird shit going on.
Because I'm going to edit out that you said you looked it up.
Yeah, what the?
No, I did. I typed it in. They're telling you to do it. You could keep that. I don't care. It's not. It's not like. It's not. Dude, it came up
All right, let's
in.
go to Chick's Picks.
Chick
B,
just
you know what my
implicated
thing is?
himself
Like,
in
you
a
get
crime.
uncomfortable with this, and I feel like you
I don't
look
get
at things.
uncomfortable.
No, I don't. Like, you look at people and you see good. And I
Yes.
see a lot worse. So I think for someone like you, it's harder to believe this than it is for someone like me.
Because
See,
it sounds
I think
like
I
a
don't
lot.
see good. It just seems so. It's so
It's
big,
not-
but I'm open to. I'm not hearing about the people coming out about it, but I hear this guy saying his movie got removed from Hulu.
Watch the video because I'm not doing
I'll
his
watch the
video
video.
justice.
Yeah, I'll watch the video.
And
I
in
just-
he tells you like you could see what I'm talking about on this and that, and he tells you where you can go and look at this stuff, and he's like, it's public information, and it's just stuff that gets swept under the rug, and things that happen about the something with the Max what's her name the Max Maxwell or
Maxwell.
just Lane Maxwell or whatever her name is, something about her stuff, like instead of it being front page and a lot of these things, like a lot of pages were throwing this shit on the bottom and everything was just about COVID, and it's like things that
Come
they're
to think
keeping.
of it, I haven't heard her name in a couple weeks.
Exactly, and they're saying a lot of these news places, because the higher ups are involved in this shit or pushing this shit, like they're not going to not put it because they have to like publish it, but they're like trying to hide it as best they can.
I just think people look for these conspiracy theories to find something, and a lot of times it's...
When has a conspiracy theory ever started with a guy who actually does have an island who's known like getting arrested and dying so unusually, and now his right hand is, and all this shit is coming
With
out.
photo
Like to me,
evidence
this isn't a
of, like,
conspiracy.
girls
No, I'm not
with
saying
the prince.
Epstein. I'm not saying Epstein.
But this is the Epstein stuff.
Oh, but we're getting to the point where we're everything in Hollywood. It's
Well,
all,
that's where it
it's
loses
like,
me.
It's like we're getting. That's all. It just takes one thing to spiral out of
But
control.
apparently
One
Epstein
video-
was like the ring bearer.
He
for
was a
it.
financer.
Yeah, he was
for
the
lack of-
financier of an island that
I
had all
know, I
this.
know.
So to me, once you get like the tip of the iceberg, it's not surprising that now it's trickling down and it's becoming bigger than. How many things start that are unbelievable and they come out and you're like, wow, this is the concentration camps. And I know these aren't like completely comparable, but nobody thought that shit was going on. And then when you see that there's these death camps during World War II, when the U.S. and everybody starts getting in there, and you're like, oh, I would have never thought that's going on. Like, this shit happens at
No,
a
it
grand
definitely
fucking
does.
scales.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like, in my opinion, to say that it's far-fetched, yeah, maybe, but is it completely
I
unrealistic?
think it's possible.
Anything's possible.
I
of
just
course.
think that it's
it
like-
just seems like people are jumping on
It seems like it's just everyone in Hollywood fucks kids. Really.
They're not saying everyone, but they're just saying it's
But
very.
It's always like every day, like those pages. Are
But if you
like,
think
and now
about the
it's her,
amount
and
of
now
people
it's
that-
him, and now it's Tom Hanks. And now
Let's
it's
say there's 1,000 people that come out. How many people are in Hollywood, though?
not of high paid, really successful people. Not many.
Oh, still a ton more than are coming out. Like I'm saying, like the percentage of famous actors that came out during this, even though it's still a large number, and you're looking at it like, wow, that's a lot of people. In the grand scheme of the SAG and all these actors, even big names, it's still a small percentage.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, think about how many actors there are who are famous. I mean, there's thousands. And there's only been,
Sort
there
of.
hasn't even reached 100 names yet. So, like, my point is, the percentage in theory is still relatively small. In the, you know what I mean? It's a big,
Yes.
you know what?
It just always seems to be the top name.
but
where it's like,
why
so
are they excluded from it though? Like,
They're
why
not
should
excluded
they?
from it, but why is it always the top?
Because it's
like,
apparently it's the people who are having, and that's why they
But
get
what
these
it-
top
I wonder
roles.
what the mechanism is. Are you get a certain amount of money and suddenly you're attracted to
Well,
kids?
they're kind of saying that in doing this stuff, you get green lights on projects and things of that nature. Like if you're in the group, you're going to get in on the big movies that these guys are producing and paying and financing.
I mean,
you know what
maybe.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I
like
get what you're saying.
some of these roles may go to some of these people because they're involved in it.
right.
I'm not saying. Listen, I don't know.
Can we bring it to picks for a second?
Yeah, because I'm about to
have a
go.
pick.
Go for it.
All right.
Let's start with
I
yours, and then I'll
watched-
go to mine.
A movie called The Firm last night
The old movie, The Firm, with Tom
with Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah,
1990 something.
yeah, great movie.
Okay. This links directly to this to me because that whole movie, if you haven't seen it,
It's about the
He
insurance
basically-
company going after the kid
something like- a
and not
tax
helping
company.
him. The tax. Okay.
and he gets hired by this tax company, and it's like a 3-hour movie, by the way. But as time goes along with this tax company in the middle of the country, he realizes that it's like a cult.
oh,
And that they're
I haven't seen it in a
they're
while.
just like if
Yeah, I saw that back.
it was
years
pretty
ago.
good. But it's kind of like this: like if you're in good with the cult, you do well.
Yes.
If not, you disappear.
And they're saying, there's a lot of actors who've came out and said things about whatever, and then their careers go down. Why? Just But listen, I get
I
it.
want to watch this video.
You got to watch it.
Yeah.
My picks this week, I actually have the 2 documentaries and a movie. The first documentary I watched on Netflix, and I've been telling you guys about it. I still don't think either one of you have watched it, and it bothers me. But it's Tread.
No,
No, I haven't watched.
This is about a small town.
didn't you do this last week?
I never gave the pick out.
I thought we talked about it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Did I talk about the depression with The Way to Gold?
That's not.
I don't
ringing
know,
a
I
bell.
usually-
But Tread rings a bell.
Because I've been telling you guys about it. I don't even care if I redid them because I don't
Alright.
think I did them on the show.
Give us it again.
I don't remember doing picks last week.
Tread it again.
Tread is about a small time guy who the company's. He basically gets asked out of the community board, and his property that he has can't run his business off of it because he's not connected to some sewer line, and he winds up getting furious at this town to the point where he buys a bulldozer.
Yes,
And
we
he
talked about it.
no,
Any
I've been
levels of
telling
town.
you guys about this 3 weeks now, personally. So I feel like you're mistaking what I said on the show to me telling you
It's tough
guys
to know, but it sounds very familiar.
because I've told you. And he takes this bulldozer and he fucking destroys the whole town.
I hope you did this last week because
I'm like
I have deja vu
99
so bad. right now.
This is
because
really
I've been
ringing a
telling
bell.
you guys to watch it, and you both told
Wait,
me
I
for
remember
2
sitting
weeks
in
now
this
you
chair
were
last-
going
I
to
have
watch it
critiques already. He's bulldozing a town,
with a bulldozer.
and people are in the town.
He's bulldozing.
They're- as
With a
he's-
bulldozer.
How fast is this bulldozer going
It's-
that nobody stops him?
Yeah.
Because you're not letting me finish. He protected. He armored
We
the
let you
tank.
finish last week. Now we have
He
questions.
armored the tank so that nobody could shoot it. They couldn't get into the treads and stop the tank.
Tread.
Tread, exactly. They couldn't get into
Oh.
him. They tried to stop him. They even tried ramming him with other things, but he had this thing so juiced up and customized that
Did
they
they
couldn't
try to
stop
call
it.
him
And now
a
this
pedophile?
whole movie takes place over a 2-hour span, and they're just pushing the tank with different things.
No, it's about 45 minutes of what comes to it, and then the last half hour is actual footage of him taking his tank, and then every time he's starting to head somewhere, they evacuate that building, and then he just
This is like
barrels
the
through the
slowest
building.
Moving assault and disaster.
Oh, the guy, and then I could tell everybody the ending. I don't give
Please,
a fuck.
at this, I'm never gonna watch
I'm
it.
not watching.
You guys are missing
Dude,
out. Like
just
you're not.
Get
He fucking what?
just get a gun. What are you doing, man?
What happened?
He's just
He's
he's bulldozing.
He
through
armored
things.
his bulldozer.
He
If you're trying
The
to kill
treads
people,
he's not trying
this
to kill
is the
people.
least efficient way.
He's not trying to kill people. He's trying to ruin the fucking their businesses, which he did. He went down every one of
Oh,
his
see, I didn't know his motive.
the whole town. He went through the whole board. He went there and destroyed the main building where they all hold.
What was this guy's name?
I don't even
Two-part
remember his
name
name.
for sure. He's got a two-part name for sure.
And then the guy that he had an ultimate gripe with, he destroyed his whole property. I mean, literally barreled down the building and took him down, all the walls, everything, of a whole fucking small town. And then he, when he got stuck in a basement, because as he was barreling through the building, his treads got caught in the basement and he couldn't get out. Why is that so funny?
Because the tread is like the
This
the
tread
protagonist and the antagonist for him.
Yeah, it gets stuck. So he wound up just putting a hole in his. He puts a bullet in his head and kills himself.
Oh my god.
So
what
he
an
had a
ending.
gun, and he's still like
He was using a 50 cal
I'm-
shooting at things too, but he was trying to blow up things. He wasn't trying to kill people. He was just trying to destroy the town.
This guy's motives are just.
You didn't watch it. You're not. You watch it. You both said you were, and now because I'm bringing it up again, I'm never gonna watch
I don't
it.
like your review.
I don't
it
like
didn't
you.
Get me. It didn't get me to want to
I
watch
guess
it.
I'll have to watch it now because I got to know what the motive is. Why he chose the slowest way possible to cause.
He didn't need
the
to do it
most
fast 'cause
minimal
it-
amount of damage.
It did the most amount of damage. You can't put a bomb in every building. I mean, it wouldn't have worked. The guy just went through and barreled over everything. I think this guy was a genius, personally. You should have seen what he did to this bulldozer. It was one of the most entertaining things I've watched
but
in a while.
also though, like, how angry do you have to be? that
Exactly.
You're actually doing it, and it's taking a long time, and you're still
Yeah.
angry.
The only thing that
After
he could, the
first
only
building,
opening
don't
there
you think you'd be
was,
like, oh man, I'm an idiot.
he made a little
Absolutely.
opening in the armor so he could stick a 50 cal out, and he tried to blow up these gas
Oh,
tanks that would have
alright.
blown up this whole fucking thing, but he couldn't get the gun. It was just weird. He
Yeah,
couldn't do
after
it.
that first building, I'd be like, this was.
Dude, he went.
fucking
I mean, it went on for
messed up
hours,
here.
and they couldn't get in. They
I
couldn't
feel like
stop
this
him.
review has gone on
How
for
much
hours.
like Adderall do you think he was?
Well, you
on?
keep on asking questions and commenting about it, so I'm going to keep talking
yeah, all right,
about
what
it.
else do you have?
Well, since you said I did it, I don't know if I did the way to gold. That was the one about all the Olympic athletes It's a big thing about depression.
I think
Yes,
you
you did
messed
this.
up this
All right.
week.
Whatever. Well, those are my picks then. I thought I didn't do them last week. That's why I'm doing them.
Weight of Gold you told us about.
Do you write down these?
Yes, and I usually erase them after I do it. I didn't think I did my picks last week. I'm sorry.
We did it in the dark.
Might be the first time in 140 fucking episodes that I've ever doubled the picks.
But you know, it was a week ago. You didn't go in.
I haven't listened to our episode since I had that issue with Chris.
What issue with Chris?
Remember when me and him had the debate on air?
Never heard of it.
I don't remember. About what?
Chris, you remember
Of
it.
course I remember.
Yeah, B is fucking lost all of a sudden. I don't
Wait,
even know what's
uh,
going on.
I don't remember a debate.
When Chris fucking tore me a new asshole for telling him.
For the-
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were playing dumb.
no!
Yeah, I
no,
thought
no,
you were
no,
playing
no.
dumb too.
I haven't listened in months.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't really listen back anymore.
So okay, I forgot.
So
That's
I
right.
don't, I don't know if I did it. And I usually, as soon as I say them, I usually delete them as I say them.
Oh, okay.
And they were still there, and I didn't think I did my picks.
All right.
I remember telling you guys about
So
them.
Tread I have to watch though because
All right, I'm gonna watch Tread too.
I just want you guys to watch because I
I'm gonna
think
watch
it'll be
Tread.
very entertaining.
I'm gonna watch Tread. Delete Tread.
I
right now.
just deleted them all.
Okay.
No, actually, please, let's rehash this about Tread.
That should
next
become
week.
a theme of the podcast. You just tell us about Tread every week.
Tread every week. I'm telling you, it was entertaining.
Actually, it's a new
It sounds-
segment called Tread Lightly.
It's
Yeah,
like a half
Tread
hour, 40 minutes of watching this guy just get more and more infuriated about what's going on with the town because he leaves a voice recording about everything.
Are you actually gonna
Because
do
how
this again?
fucking
You-
angry.
I'm just he's like
How angry do you
That's
have
what
to
I'm saying.
be that you're just for hours? You're like, fucking yeah, man, another one, another one.
and then he just went
Don't
to
you think at the point where you armor a
Can I tell you he did it for months.
I think I've gone out of my. I think I've lost my mind.
He did it for it wasn't like it was a
Check
short time.
myself
It took
in
him
here,
like,
When
man.
you make that little hole for
I
the
think it
gun
took
to
him like
come out.
6 months to build the
This is
The
why
fucking-
just people. Where was this? In the middle of nowhere.
I forget it's in the middle of the
Yeah,
country.
These people just not doing anything.
I mean, who customizes a
And
fucking
nobody's like, this guy's getting a lot of bulletproof
Yeah.
metal.
Nobody knew it. He built this guy was so
Oh, he did it
handy
himself.
and was such a good
Craftsman.
He's got buddies coming over. What you
think
got
he
there?
built things to carry sheets of metal that
Yo,
can
you
and he
never
weld
know.
them. Like he's so good at welding that he built all this shit too that he could weld this thing together. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Chick's talking about this guy the way some future terrorists talk about the Unabomber.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy had some fucking ideas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great ideas.
I just
you know,
like
he's
people
living
who, you know what, the guy pissed off, he had enough, and he took it to the town.
Oh god, it worries me. How excited you are.
We
about
haven't
that.
been in his garage in a while.
No,
And I have a
no,
feeling there's
no.
like
Listen,
We should go to
Fred
your garage and check things
I'm
out.
just a fan of people just fucking having enough.
going
and
out
then-
on their terms.
And go, exactly. Like, you know what?
Jesus Christ, this is gonna end up
Fuck
on
everybody.
Dateline.
I'm doing it like me.
We need to end this podcast. This has to come to an end.
This was almost a 2-hour episode. bro.
This is a great
is
episode.
great.
I
I'm
have
having
a
a good
lot of fun
time.
with the three of you on this fucking porch. Even
I
though
like the
for the
vibe
last
on this
20
porch,
minutes,
man.
B has been he's checked out of this. You already know when B checks
We went
out of an
deep on
episode.
pedophiles.
You know,
Yeah.
I
And
check
I
out.
still,
Once you do anything that's somewhat serious, B checks
I
out.
want to do aliens soon.
Okay.
We talked about this.
I had some. I heard we did get a suggestion on people to bring in
Yes.
too, but we'll do something like that. But if
do
you
it.
guys made it this far, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Review us on iTunes. Give us comments. Leave us comments. Email us ideas, questions. We really do love hearing from you, even though you never do it.
Yeah, we love hearing you from
yeah, feedback.
Like
Would be great.
once every
Mark's
3 months.
reply to me. I loved it, and we brought it. Gave us something to talk about on air.
great.
That's right.
man.
That's right.
So I enjoy them. Well, I'm done.
All
guys.
right.
All right, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Just turn the lights off and